You
All
can
right.
you can just choose, like, if you go to the properties, it can be just choose the
Yeah, no, I
device.
said it. I just like, if anyone's listening, can they hear me right now?
Yep, I can hear you now. You're good.
Okay. I didn't have this issue when I was using Streamlabs. I just installed Streamlabs and it was like, hey, there's your audio stuff. I'm going to use it. Go have fun, Hoss. Apparently, OBS thinks, I mean,
Welcome to
I
hell.
appreciate you wanting to give me that level of autonomy, OBS, but I have other things to worry about than making sure you click my default audio to be used. I shouldn't have to think about that. I'm not adding any other audio sources to the stream. Give me the default ones, please. Thank you very much, and thank you. Ugh. All right.
Which is weird because I set up my mixer, plugged everything in, launched OBS, and it set it up for me.
Yeah, didn't do it for me. Apparently, doesn't like me. Hates my guts. Hates my guts. That's
It's
okay.
like, oh, we got a new DM streamer here trying to
let's
mess
screw
with
with
him.
this guy. All right, so I guess
Let's jump him in.
I guess take 3. All right, welcome everyone. Hopefully you all can hear me now as well as the players.
First try.
Yeah, first try. Totally first try. Ignore everything that happened before.
Nothing but perfection on Behold Roleplay.
Welcome, Wayward Wanderers, episode 1. This is a Pathfinder 2 campaign. We're playing in standard mode. For anyone who's familiar with Pathfinder, we are not doing society play. We're doing standard play. Just because I do not want to impose the society restrictions on my players. I want them to enjoy the campaign to its fullest extent. Not to say society play is not fun. I love society play. I play society play in Pathfinder and D&D for Adventure League. I've taken this season off for the current D&D Adventure League. And I am eagerly awaiting for Cobalt Press's organized play. They made a tacit announcement that they're thinking of stepping their toe into organized play society, and I would love to do organized play for Midgard because it's a wonderful world and Cobalt Press does amazing stuff, and I would love to be a part of that. These are our players. Some of them are familiar, some of them are not. Basically, because of the way this campaign is initially going to start, I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves. Everyone currently is a performer in a traveling circus called the Circus of Wayward Wonder. Something is amiss, and we're going to start into a particular function of the campaign that the players are very much anxious to see. So I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves one at a time. They're going to let you know what they are, who they are, a little bit of their background, and they're going to lock in their signature trick. How this campaign goes is there is a traveling circus, and once a week, should the players choose to, they can put on a performance. And all the players who are performers, which everyone thankfully is, has to have a signature trick that they will have the opportunity to perform before the crowds. So with that, let's start things off with Rojan, since you decided to post you're going to cast Fist. Let us know who Reginald is, how we got into the Circus of Wayward Wonders, and then finally what your signature trick is going to be.
So Reginald was a prize fighter that just wandered around from city to city, getting into any organized scraps that his manager / trainer would get him in for both coin and glory. They happened upon the circus and thought it would probably be a good place to build Reginald's name, as well as be able to maybe earn some extra coin as well. His signature trick is, well, he punches people. It's nothing really, nothing really spectacular per se, but it's one of those carnival type situations where you have to last 3 minutes against their fight. Oh, the cameras just died. Their fighter. And if you do, you get a prize, you win money or whatnot. But everyone has to sign a waiver.
Okay. So the way tricks work is every trick has to have at level 1 has to have a corresponding trait and check. So basically, as you gain levels, your tricks gain levels as well. When your tricks hit certain levels, you can add other things to your tricks. So because you are basically doing a challenge, I'm making a special dispensation. Normally you cannot do a trick that has a trait that you do not have an NPC for. Again, standard rules. I'm the DM. I like the punch 'em up robot aspect of this trick, so I'm going to allow it. So basically, how I'm thinking your trick is going to go is your check is either going to be you're a monk, correct?
Yes, I am a monk.
All right. So you can either, if you want, because you already have agile. So if you want to, you can have agile as your trait for the trick, and then your actual check would be an attack roll.
Okay.
If you want to, if you yourself want to actually have any audience participation, then I would have you take the audience trait for the trick, and then however you would not be able to use your attack roll for your trick initially, because you're doing audience participation and it technically is a society check, and I know that you are trained in society. Your trick check would be society.
Okay.
Because you are engaging with an audience member. So I'll let you have either of those options. But that's how, for mechanical purposes, that's how your trick will still be. You still get to do the Sock'em Rock'em Robot deal. But if you're, depending on what your current stats are, it may be easier for you to do one than the other.
Yeah, right now it would probably be attack, because attack is higher than my society.
All right. So then we're going to go agile, and
yeah, you mentioned agile. Where is that?
So what agile is? Let me.
It's one of the 5 types of tricks you can do. There's fire, water, agile, and then there's 2 others that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. So everyone is logged into the thing.
Roll 20.
Yep. So I'm going to let's see, life in the circus. All right. So I'm going to just make sure there's no DM content here that you can't see. All right, cool. Yeah, there's no DM content. All right, so I'm going to show this to you guys. Show to everyone. All right. And this is going to be, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition over to our map section so everyone can see as well. So
I see a dude with pulling a really scary looking rabbit out of his hat.
Yep.
So basically, for putting on a show, this is the section that tells you fully how the circus mechanic works. And I wanted to keep it kind of vague until we actually started, because I wanted you guys not to think about the mechanics for your trick and think about your trick.
Oh, I don't see the text on there. I only see the dude with the rabbit in his hat.
Really, it only showed the dude.
Yep. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see if I can click on it.
What if you click? If you should be a hand. Let me go to my. Let me see. Do you give it to
If you
me?
click on it, it just goes into a PNG format.
It just shows the dude with the rabbit in his hat.
All right, it's supposed to be a handout. I don't know why it's not handing out.
So for Agile, is there anything that I need to add or anything, or is it just?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the Roll20 chat. So basically, like, if people can see on the screen because they can see my map, but so trick traits. So what Agile is when you use when you have the trait for Agile, what it does is normally when you perform multiple attack actions in a round, you take a successive -5 penalty. So initially you take no penalty, you take a -5, then you take a -10. What Agile does is it decrements that by 1. So if you're Agile, you take a -4 and a -8. So basically, when you have your initial attack, it's going to be no penalties. When you attack the second time, if you choose to, it'll be at a -4, and when you choose attack the third time, it'll be at a -8. Again, that's all if you want to use all 3 of your actions
Gotcha.
to do attacks for the trick. When the campaign treats the act as a combat round, so you get 3 actions. So you can technically attack all 3 times, trying to garner excitement for your trick all 3 times. However, you have to realize that there are penalties for failing your trick. Either you generate no excitement for the trick whatsoever, or you could possibly generate negative excitement. And if you generate negative excitement, you don't have to worry about that. We're rolling live dice.
Oh no, I didn't mean to click on that.
Oh.
I was trying to get the drop down information on here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I'm going to click Agile on.
And if you, my compendium is shared. So if you go to the compendium and you type in Agile, it should bring up the actual trait for Agile.
Gotcha. All right. I'll mark that down in my notes that my trick is Agile.
And you'll have all that fun, happy stuff. Alrighty. And now we're... Okay, so...
Yeah, I'm completely new to this. Like,
oh, it's fine. That's why
I know like 5th edition and D&D like the back of my hand.
That's why I wanted to
Pathfinder. I'm like,
yeah.
How do I line for fish?
Out of us, I am the second most proficient at this, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Nah, don't worry about it. This is why I wanted to do most of the session 0 stuff offline, so that way it's just simple asking of questions. All right, so your trick is laid out. Everyone knows who Reginald is. Punching Man. All right, so next we have Gwennon.
Okay, so Gwennon is a cleric, and she was born into the circus to a human mother who was an aerialist and an elven father who was a cleric. So she's been with the circus for her whole life. She's a tall, thin half-elf, and in the character sheet she's shown in her circus attire. She is a juggler with the juggler archetype.
Now, you don't have the juggler archetype just yet, because remember,
I don't. Okay.
Because the juggler dedication is a second level feat and your first level.
Okay.
So you're going. I know you're going to be a juggler. So basically, this is how it's going to operate for you. So in the Pathfinder, to multi-class in Pathfinder, you cannot. It's not the same way as you do in 5th edition or other systems. What you have are dedications, and what an archetype dedication allows you to do is whenever you are able to get a class feat, instead of taking a class feat from your primary class feat list, you would take a dedication of what you're trying to multi-class into. So since you're a cleric, but you want to have juggler proficiency. So what'll happen is when you hit second level, you'll take the juggler archetype as your class feat, which will give you the juggler dedication and give you all the benefits for juggling that you get from that. What'll also happen is at second level, you also get a skill feat, and I would highly recommend you also take the juggler skill feat, which gives you the juggling bonuses that tack into the juggler dedication. So how that will play out is one of the things that the juggler skill feat does is it allows you to always have an open free hand when you're juggling, which is good for you because you're a caster. So basically you can technically be juggling on one hand and cast with the other as an open hand, because when you're casting you require an open hand to cast, which is why when we were talking, that's why I recommended you do that, because I know you went into the juggling. So when you're juggling, you can still do that now. Initially for juggling for you, it'll either be an athletics or an acrobatics check, presuming I think your dexterity is higher, so it'll be an acrobatics check for doing the juggling. However, as it stands right now, if you're juggling knives or whatever you choose to juggle, you cannot cast as well. You'd have to choose currently whether or not you want to juggle and chuck knives at people, or if you want to actually cast and have the weapon in your hand as an equipped weapon, which you can also do. You don't necessarily have to start off and start juggling and tossing. You can wield your clerical weapon, or you can wield a dagger and still cast, because you'll technically have an open hand because they're single-handed items.
So am I allowed to use prestidigitation?
Yes.
To create ice throwing stars?
Yes.
And then juggle those?
Yes. So
okay.
I had to talk to a couple other people. Thankfully, Pathfinder has a really big community. So basically, when you do prestidigitation, it's not the same as in 5th edition. 5th edition has, if you read the spell between the two, they're very different. What prestidigitation allows you to do, which is really cool, is it allows you to make a light bulk item. However, like 3 little ninja stars or throwing daggers, whatever you choose to juggle, would still qualify as bulk light. So technically you're making a bundle of an item, and the reason why I'm allowing that is because when you actually craft ammunition, like throwing knives would be considered ammunition, so it's shuriken. When you craft ammunition, you craft in bundles. And then that's how you don't just make a arrow, you make a bundle of arrows, or vice versa. So when you're casting prestidigitation to make the ice daggers or the ice shuriken, you're going to get 3, because that's going to be equivalent to a light crafting. So that's how I'm working it into the aspect of your character. So you cast it, you get like your 3 ice throwing stars. They'll act just like a regular throwing star. However, they're not going to have the longevity of an actual item.
That's sort of part of the visual of the trick, would be that as she's tossing them, if it's daylight, they'll catch the sun. If it's an evening performance, they'll catch the torch light. But then they'll also melt and throw off water, so they'll look sort of like shooting stars. So the idea would be that she's grabbing these stars from the heavens and throwing them up again. And it all ties in with her goddess being Desna.
Yep. And so what I'm suggesting for your trait, for your trick, is that it be water. Because you're specifically making a little ice weaponry, and then your check to be initially, because you're not a juggler yet, but for your initial check to be your athletics check, because that's probably going to be your best check for doing the juggling with the knives. So the description of the trick is still the same. You still do it. You still juggle. All this stuff happens within the level 1. And just for everyone who's watching, the tricks expand as the players, performers gain in level. So right now they're only allowed 1 trait and 1 check for a trick. However, as they gain in levels, they get additional traits and checks to use for their tricks. And as they gain in level, they get to change their trick to basically incorporate the addition of these new checks and new traits. So, for example, in Gwynen's case, when she hits 4th level and she gets to add, she gets to have 2. It's either 2 traits or 2 tricks for her trick. She would probably add agile to the trick to give her a better opportunity when she casts it again. And then you can modify your trick like that. You can make it more dangerous. You can make it more exciting. You can, as the circus also gains in notoriety and they gain prestige, they can actually hire new NPCs that have traits that they can actually use later on down the line and expand their tricks even further. So that is a big part of the adventure, which is why we're spending a little bit of time on it in the beginning, because I want everyone to know how it functions, because it's a lot of fun. This adventure is not just find the monster and kill it. You actually have to perform and do things and make a show of it, because it's a show and the show must go on.
So if the trick doesn't happen to go so well, how much damage do I do to myself with my little...
So
we could go over that later.
So because you're with Reginald's trick and yours, there's an imposed injury trait to your tricks, because there's a self-harm aspect. You only have to worry about being injured should you critically fail. If you critically fail the trick, you lose excitement potential from the crowd, and then you take a random amount of damage from you hurting yourself in the trick. And I have to double check, but I believe if you are injured, you have to stop your trick, because you have to maintain. You can't go forward with the trick. So let's say you start off, first action, you're trying to juggle, and you injure yourself. You would not be able to continue your trick, because you have to seek attention to heal yourself. It doesn't prevent you from adventuring, but you are injured enough to prevent you from performing. So basically your act would be over for that evening's performance, and then you would not be able to do another performance or performance-like activity until the next show. So that's how the injury works for that. So if you wanted to actually do between shows, show off your performance skills with your trick, you wouldn't be able to, because you're still recovering from the injury.
Okay.
Alrighty. So let's see. Next we have Cantrell.
Yes, I am Cantrell Fleetwood. I am a practitioner of the arts of arcane, and I am a seer. And for my trick, let's just say it's called target practice, as I use one spell named Dancing Lights and have it form around me and spin around me as I approach onto the field. and explain how I'm going to fight and be patient with myself in the way of the warrior. And at that point, I strike one of them out, fluttering it out of existence with my staff, and then have the other 3 go around me as I blindfold myself, and then try to knock out the other 3 while blindfolded as the part of the trick.
So you would only be able to do it with 3 of the dancing lights because you're only allowed 1 action, 3 actions per act.
Right.
So the for the setup, the casting of the dancing lights, like with the casting of prestidigitation, is part of the trick. So you don't get penalized for having to make the casting.
So I don't actually like cast them right in front of me. It's like they'll actually already be around me as I'm going in.
Exactly. So for your individual particular trick,
Yeah, I was hoping Arcana.
Yeah.
Since I'm technically pulling a con here.
Well, it's not a con. You're actually using magic for your trick, and our
True.
Let's see. So the actual Arcana, the Arcana skill check would be your check for the trick. For the trait, that one, I'm not sure. So it can. It's a little bit weird because you're basically fighting dancing lights. So your options are you can do aerial as a trait, which will allow you to make an acrobatics check against trying to poof the magic light. If you have the aerial trait and you choose to use acrobatics, that would give you a +1 circumstance to performing the trick because aerial incorporates acrobatics.
Gotcha.
The other options that you have as far as a check is concerned would either be agile, because that's allowed to you right now currently. And it wouldn't be any of the others. So you would
not be fire, animal, or water.
Yeah, and I'm again, like with Rojan, I'm making special dispensation for aerial. It's not listed as one of the tricks, but there are flying dwarves as part of the NPC acts. I think the aerial was just not mentioned in the actual text. So you have the option of either doing aerial or doing agile. If you choose agile for the trait, then your check would again suffer the penalty.
Right.
Because it's not that, again, because everything's treated like an attack action. So the check, even though you're making an Arcana check, which is a skill check, it's being treated as an attack.
Right.
So your successive checks would be with a -4 and a -8 penalty for the Arcana check. So, but you also have some strength. You can actually make an attack roll. You would still suffer the same penalty. Up to you how you want to play it out.
Considering that my attack is what now? 2 + 3. Yeah, we're gonna go Arcana and do Agile with the -4 and -8.
Alrighty. All right. So that's your trick. So basically, you're gonna step out into the spotlight. You're gonna conjure some spirits who might or might not be malevolent. and then you're going to immediately dispatch one, and then you're going to blindfold yourself, and then you're going to try and dispatch the others. Blindfolding yourself, to do that, I am going to impose a -1 circumstance to your check because you are blindfolded.
Now, question about that. Considering I know where the dancing lights are, since it's my spell.
Wanted to know. Here. So this is the reasoning.
Right.
You know where the magic emanation is coming from. It's your spell. You know what they're buzzing about you. However, you're still trying to physically hit him.
Right.
Like you don't have arcane sense like tremor sense. It doesn't work that way with magic. You can make an arcana check to try and determine where a spell is coming from, but if you're trying to be very specific with your interaction with the spell, you have to be able to see its effect. So because you can't actually see the effect of the spell, you're going to take a circumstance bonus if you choose to blindfold yourself.
Makes sense. Okay. Should I... Oh, wait. We haven't actually done our rolls yet, have we?
Nope, we're not. This is all for... I just want everyone to know what your tricks are once you all have them locked in so you have an idea of what's happening.
Gotcha.
And... Did you introduce yourself or do your backstory a little bit?
I didn't describe myself. I am a elf wizard of the Tian Kia dynasty from the Minkai province.
Alrighty.
And
so, Asian influence.
I look a lot like a very not evil Shang Tsung.
Okay,
with a long beard.
Not evil Shang Tsung, is that a thing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of want to Google that.
It's just him with the rainbow.
Oh my god! Yes, I forgot. He does it's Shang-Chi's
friendship.
So instead of taking your soul, he gives you a Care Bear hug.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Yeah. So you're basically away from Far East.
Yes.
So when I saw your backstory initially, you had mentioned an unforeseen circumstance with an ogress. I'm presuming you're keeping the experience you had with the one shot with this particular character. Okay.
I mean, yeah, that was basically like, why not? He's got a little history.
All right. Okay. Just so you know, that town exists. So
yeah,
it's fodder, and
well, so's that forest.
True. Alrighty, and our final performer is Shathra.
No, Shathra is a she's an orc barbarian with the wolf animal instinct, so she loves her wolves. She's the runt of a small orc clan, very small, very short, and during her childhood, she would get made fun of a lot by her clanmates. She trained with her older brother to become a barbarian and rised up the ranks as a warrior in her clan. She would go on hunts, and still wasn't enough for her clan to take her seriously at all. On a hunt, she went down the mountain to a human village, and there was a nice little traveling circus. And she was wandering around a little bit. She found a little contest with some axe throwing. She loves her axes, so she entered and won. And that was when she got approached by the owner of that circus and was asked to join. She went back up to her clan, her parents, her family, who she loved dearly, and she decided, I don't want to be here anymore, and left and joined a traveling circus. So for her trick, because she loves her axes, she juggles her hatchets, and in the middle of her juggling performance, she will take her left hand and she will throw her axe to a target that's about 20 feet away from her for a possible bullseye on the target. And she'll just keep checking each one that she's juggling at a separate target.
Alrighty, so you're just doing the standard initial throw the axes at the target trick. Okay, very very cool. I like it. Very easy to expand upon that.
Yep.
I would probably, because so you're gonna be doing more than likely agile.
Yep.
For that. Again, and I'm presuming you're going to want to use your attack roll as your check initially.
Yes.
All right. Again, because there is a juggling aspect to your trick. Should you fail in your check, there will be a risk of injury. You aren't actually being penalized for the juggling aspect because of the way your trick is done. You're throwing the axe, but the way I envision it is, if you fail the check, you misgrab the axe for the throw.
Yeah.
And that's where the injury would, instead of grabbing the handle, you grab the axe head. That's not going to be good for anybody. So
No, it won't.
All right, so we have some nice tricks, some injury possibilities. I'm liking it. So that's the performers, and with those introductions, let's get into it. So, the Circus of Wayward Wonders performs in an enormous tent capable of holding hundreds of people. And that's a good thing, as it seems the entire population of Aberdeen has turned out for the show. Many of the town's most prominent citizens, including the mayor, are among the throng jostling for seats. Appearing at the three rings that fill the center of the tent and awaiting excitedly for the show to begin. As the lights go down and the audience settles into their seats, the circus performers take their places backstage, awaiting their cues. Suddenly, several of the performers closest to the curtain that separates the three rings from the rest of the tent leave their assignments, gathering in a small crowd to exchange frightened whispers and gasps. Amid the group, his body... Sorry, I lost my place. Oh my god, sorry. Amid the group, his body contoured as if caught forever in the throes of terror and pain, is the corpse of the ringmaster, Myron Thunder Stendhal. Everyone in the circus knew Myron for his amazing, powerful voice that can bring instant silence to the largest crowd, and he knew everything there is to know about putting on a successful performance. Now he's dead, but the crowd is still out there, and they're expecting a show. So you four, as well as the rest of the performers and the crew who manages the circus, are standing around your ringmaster, who is now mysteriously dead. Everyone is there's excited whispers. There's people who are saying, what we're going to do? Is this the end of the circus? How is Myron? How did Myron die? What's going on? I don't understand. And then amid all the chaos and crazy that is happening, one of the other circus runners steps forth. Let's see. And I just want to get his information for you guys. Sorry, I'm a little bit disjointed because of all the other stuff I had to do earlier. I had all this stuff pre-done for earlier. But this kindly gentleman, hopefully you all see him, pop up on your maps.
Nope. I don't see him.
I see you brought up the running a circus and then closed out.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It just took some time.
Alrighty. So the person you see before you is you should see him is known as the Professor. I think this is a better picture of him. He is the other showrunner for the circus.
So is he like the
Yeah.
manager?
Yeah, so his name is Professor Zarlane Kairosophis. And he steps out from the crowd and he covers Myron's body with a silk cape, and then he begins to address the crowd backstage. As the other performers stare at the corpse and whisper to each other, and anxiety and anxiously peer around the curtain, the professor, a thin and frail veteran of the circus, looks up. Well, what do we have you all standing around for? He asked in his weak voice, barely audible from a hushed silence. Have you seen that crowd? We haven't ever had the tent packed this full. There's a show to put on, and we have to find a way to do it. So finish your makeup, get in your costumes, and send in the clowns, damn it. And with that, the rest of, the acts, they scatter, they start doing their things. There's a bustle and behind the circus. Clowns come out to start warming up the crowd. And Zarlane actually approaches you four. And he explains to you that Myron handled all the show preparation. He did all the barking, he did all the flyers and advertisement. He basically did all the things that needed to be done up until and including up until excluding the acts. So he was the face of the circus. He's shocked and distraught. They are longtime friends. And you can tell obviously that he is trying to keep his composure, but like he said, the show must go on. You are a very young and poor circus. Should the show not happen and you're forced to refund the money to your patrons, it'll be devastating. People will go hungry. There's a possibility that the circus could possibly end. This could be its last night. So he looks to the four of you, and he, is short of begging, asking you to help try and get the show to commence the way it needs to.
Just kind of look around at the others. I'm like, I see no other way of doing this. Shall we try and draw straws and see who goes first?
I mean, shouldn't we move the body though?
Yeah, we should do that too.
Well, Zarlane is basically, he's advising no one touch the body until we finish the show, because that'll just be too much of a distraction. He also tells you that he's not sure 100% what the proposed lineup was for the night's performance, because Myron never told him. Myron was the one who actually did all the acts. He's the one that actually did the lineup, and he would do the lineup the day of the performance. That was his routine. He would, throughout the week, do all the advertising and promotion, and then the day of, he would figure out who is actually going to perform. while you're having this conversation about who's going to perform, this very nervous human man comes up to you guys. He goes, "Do you think maybe I could do the opening act? This was supposed to be the night I finally got my opportunity to show what I could do. Myron had promised me that I could actually perform tonight. Out of respect, I'd like to actually, do what I can to help."
Do we know who this individual is?
Yes, this individual is Axel. He has a peculiar trick where he basically conjures doves magically, and they fly around in patterns, and they, as the finale of his act, they drop candy to all the children or people who look, young-ish in the crowd.
That could actually be a nice opener
Yeah,
to some
that
of
is,
the
yeah.
children involved.
Given the morbidness of the passing, yes, we should probably do something a little lighthearted to begin with.
Alrighty.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So you don't have to deploy all of the acts that are available to you, but I'm going to let you know what NPC acts you have, and then I want you to decide what you want to do as far as how you want the acts to go, and I'll tell you how you need to place them. Because so basically a performance has seven acts. The first act is obviously the opener. There are 2 acts for the build-up. There's the main act, and then there's the finale, and I believe, let's see, sorry,
So opener, 2 build-ups, a main, and then at the very end a finale.
Yep. So
that leaves 2 for a breakdown.
Yeah. So basically, sorry. And you also have, if any of you choose to not actually perform, there are non-performing options you can do if you choose to. It's not mandatory, but you can do it. So yeah, so the opener is a single act. The build-up is 2 acts. That's acts 2 and 3. There's the big number, that's in the center ring. After the big number, there's the finale, and that is all 3 rings for the finale. So you don't. So for the first performance, you don't really have to worry about any of the anticipation or anything like that. Myron had done all of that. So the anticipation for the circus has already been done for the week. Anything that needed to be done as far as build-up has already been done. So the only thing you have to worry about right now is which acts are going to perform and where they're going to be in the night's performance. And then I will let you know things as they arise. So the acts you have at your disposal right now are your 4 individual acts. You have Axel's act that he just basically you know of when he has volunteered to be the opener, if he's given the opportunity. The other acts are the Dwarven Throwers. Actually, hold on. I have these handouts and roll 2.
Or are these the trapeze artists?
No, that is an entirely different troupe. So, did they give me the handout for the performers? Of course not. Oh no, here they are. So we have available. We have Axel. His amazing. Axel's amazing Avery. Do you guys see his poster and description pop up?
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. Just want to make sure that popped up for you guys. Yeah, it's a little cheesy, but I mean that's his act. So, then the other act you have available to you is the Dwarven Throwers.
Oh my goodness!
So,
Are they the cannon performers?
so what? There's not a specific canon. They are extreme tumblers. So what
Shape
they
themselves into a living ballista and launch themselves through the air.
So they basically, through tumbling and tossing, they launch themselves about the ring. There's no actual cannon involved. However, there is a lot of tossing of dwarves.
Phrasing.
So
All right.
what I put in chat isn't too far away from what it is.
All
Love
right,
it.
so that's the Dwarven Throwers. That's another of the acts available to you. Another one is this is Eliza and Mr. Tickles. She is a snake charmer.
Oh.
And part of her act is she does a snake dance with a 16-foot anaconda.
I don't see that popping up in the in our journal,
Is it?
or in my journal anyway.
Hold on, let me do that again.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Not the tickles we're used to seeing.
Yes, this is not the tickles you're used to.
Give it a gun and it is.
Give it a gun.
Close enough.
just needs a gun. That's all it's missing. Just needs a gun. The fourth act available to you is the Featherfall 5. This is a family tightrope act.
Ooh.
It is the Kanbali family, and they do tightrope shenanigans and whatnots.
Interesting.
Okay, fifth on the lineup for NPCs currently is you have. Everyone, you have the Flamboni sisters. I did not come up with any of these names. This is all source material. So basically, they're also a juggling act. However, they juggle fire. They juggle traditional juggling torches. However, they light them on fire and they do a juggling act. And it's basically a team juggling act. It's the two sisters who basically juggle the fire torches between the two of them.
I like how the cape is on fire too.
You know, when you deal with fire.
I mean, there's even a line in the feat that says, "Will they set themselves on fire?"
Yep.
Oh no.
The answers may amaze you.
Pretty
much.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. And the final NPC act available to you guys is a great one. This is Mordain the Magician. She does an escape act where they basically dunk her in a tank of water and see if she drowns.
Fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Thinking maybe we should do something a little lighthearted this time around, to, just because of what happened.
Yeah. So
before everything went off.
yeah. Open with Axel. obviously.
Yeah. Let's give Axel his time to shine.
All right.
Get the kids on a sugar high.
For the main, I want to have either it's going to be the Dwarven Throwers, or it's going to be Mordain.
So you're talking about the big number.
Yeah, the big number.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the big number should be Mordain, and then unless anyone wants to go out for like the 2 acts in between the opener and the finale, maybe go with the for like the 2 acts, go the Dwarven Throwers and then the Featherfall 5. Like just a lot of excitement.
Oh,
To lead up to Mordain.
Yeah, to lead up to Mordain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to be
I
on
bet.
the breakdown to try and give the finale a bigger boost. So like mine is more of a calm down thing.
I gotcha.
So if I do end up going, it'll be in the 2 after the main.
All right, so
All right, so I'm doing some
Axel.
so I'm doing some bookkeeping. So you want Axel as the opener.
Then so our plan is Axel, the Dwarven Thrower, is the Featherfall 5. Kentrill's Magic Act, and then Mordain.
No. So Axel first,
Okay.
and then we have 2 before the main. Who wants to be a rabble rouser towards the main, right before the main?
Now remember, if you choose to use all 6 NPC acts, one of you guys has to be in the performance somewhere to fill the slot.
Exactly.
So it's your choice. All of you don't have to perform. It's up to you if you want to. You just basically put the NPCs on the side. If you're using them, even if however many slots are empty, have to be taken up either by you or any remaining NPCs that haven't been given a slot.
So out of like everything that we've decided so far, how many slots are still open?
Right now, I have you listed as Axel is definitely the opener from what I'm gathering. The build-up seems to be the dwarves and the tightrope act.
Yes.
Do you want the dwarves? So the build-up is simultaneous, so it doesn't matter. So basically, the opener is the center. The build-up is on the side rings. So it's tightrope. And then you're wanting Mordain to actually be the big number.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Do they have a better chance of success than we would?
Their checks are listed on their posters. So
It looks like everything is a 15 check.
Yeah, level 1 is a DC 15 check, which is the same check you guys will have.
Okay.
And as far as their actual tricks, you'll be making you'll have to decide who's going to roll for which NPC performance, because you're going to make the check for them.
Okay.
All right, so now we have
I'll be in one of the 2 breakdowns.
all right, so now we have the finale. So we have 3 acts that need to be filled in the finale.
All right, so myself, Cantrell. We can put the Flamboni sisters in the breakdown as well, and then the finale can be. No, actually, wait a minute. We can have Eliza as one of the breakdowns as well, and then have the Flamboni sisters as the finale.
Now remember, the way the finale, it's not one act. The finale is all 3 rings are occupied at the same time.
Oh.
Oh,
So-
that's actually interesting.
So,
So
the
basically-
main and then finale is
So
3.
basically, how it is the opener happens center ring. When the opener act finishes, the build-up acts are on the side rings. They do their performances because now we're prepping for the center ring again for the big number. The big number happens on the center while the 2 side rings are cleared. And then once the main number is done, then all 3 rings are occupied for the finale. So it runs literally like how you would see a traditional circus performance.
Okay, so the 2 remaining acts and myself will be in the finale then, which is snake charmer, fire tossing, and then my arcane babble.
Alrighty. So who do you want in the center ring?
The center ring, I would have the Flamboni sisters.
Okay.
And then Eliza and I can take the 2 side rings.
Alrighty.
And that's for the finale?
That's for the finale.
That would be the finale.
Okay. So then, who's going to be the last 2 spots leading up to that?
That's it. That's 7
That's
acts.
it. No,
that's it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like the first 3 that happen, Axel, the Dwarven Throwers, and the Tightrope, that is all one beginner opener.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
And then you have the 1 person doing the main, and then 3 people doing a finale. So, kind of came out okay.
Alrighty, so everyone's okay with that as being the lockdown for the performance?
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right.
It's a nice variety.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. I dig it. Let's see.
And you did say we were going to have to...
Yep, I need you also to decide who's going to be controlling the NPCs.
All right.
One of you is going to have to roll twice.
I can roll twice. Double ones.
Oh no, don't jinx yourself.
Nice. I love it.
I haven't rolled it yet, but no, I'm just saying. Given the flow of how dice rolls happen on this channel, it won't.
I'll roll for Axel.
I could roll for the Flamboni sisters.
I'll roll for the Dwarven Throwers.
Okay. All right. So, who wants to do the Featherfall 5?
I was gonna say, does that put me in charge of rolling for the Featherfall 5 and Mordain?
Sure.
Yep.
two of maybe the most dangerous acts.
We'll put the pressure
Well,
on you.
if it makes you feel any better, I have to roll for myself too.
Circus is over. Two more acts died.
Oh my
Well, they just got injured.
Shortest campaign ever.
Well, I do have my bandolier of healing on. I'm not performing.
Shortest campaign ever. Yay. I love it. Love it. All right.
Yeah.
So give me a second, because I have the window where everyone sees the everything, and then I have the window where no one sees the anything except me, because I don't have a third monitor yet, so there's stuff I can't hide that I need to hide that you guys can't see. And I want it to be a surprise to the audience too, so that way, just because of things, because I have to look at certain things, and basically people will see and gasp and be scared and like, oh my god, they're gonna die, and yeah.
At that point, it'd be like, just turn off the chat. Just turn off the chat.
Alrighty, so you have the lineup set. You guys are getting ready for actually doing the circus, and basically Axel is pacing heavily back and forth behind the curtain. Seems to be having some sort of conversation with himself. He's walking back and forth and mumbling. He's like, I don't know if it's gonna work. It's like, if the birds don't do it, like what if they poop instead of dropping candy? It's like oh my god, it's like, it's like Myron's dead. It's like
I'll walk over to him, and I'll just kind of put a hand on his shoulder. You got this. Relax. You're about to go on, by the way. Pump. Just pat him on the back.
No pressure. Just shove him out into the.
just you're good. You're good. I just give him a nice pat. I'm not pushing him out into the show per se, but I'm just like trying to give him a little confidence booster.
Alrighty, so you're trying to give him a confidence boost. All right, yeah. So he's look at you. He looks at you, and he, like, you can see just the terror in his eyes. Like he's just, fear is just seizing up his person, and you're trying to give him these words of encouragement. Let's see. I need you to give me a diplomacy check, please.
Oh,
first roll of the campaign.
First roll of the campaign.
Well, my diplomacy isn't crap, so this helps.
Well, I'll give it to you this. You decide how you want to handle this. It sounded like you wanted to do things diplomatically. Well, so I said diplomacy check.
Yes.
You do have the option of being more forceful. In which
case, no, I'm gonna be nice. It would be I'm not about to use deception to say, yeah, you totally got this.
Oh no, it would be an intimidation check. You could basically bully him onto the stage if you choose.
Either you land this trick or you break your knees.
I will give him actual words of comfort and support, and try and use diplomacy. Remember, nice Shang Tsung. Nice. Okay. +5. That is a total of a dirty 20.
Alrighty, dirty 20. Awesome. All right. So you basically you put a strong hand on Axel's back, and you're like, dude, you got this. I totally
surprisingly strong for an elf.
Yeah, I totally seen your act. The kids are gonna love it. Don't put yourself down. You got this. Everything is okay. Like, he looks at you, and you can see the inspiration welling up in his eyes, and he goes out there and he wows the crowd. Everyone is having a good time. The birds are flying. They're doing like little weird, Delta Force aviation patterns throughout the circus tent. The kids are loving it. Everyone's having a good time, and then, they sprinkle the candy all over the act, all over the, the stands. Everyone's grabbing candy out the aisle. People are fighting over the candy, like, rah, give me that, it's mine. And his performance goes through without a hitch. He makes his performance. He goes through. His entire performance actually is a success, because you gave him such overwhelming motivation. So that is great.
What would be the implications of casting bless in this situation on one of the performers?
So if you were to cast bless on someone, they would still have the same circumstance bonus as normal, because they would be able to get the D4 for a check. The issue you would have is that it only lasts a minute, and the acts last longer than a minute. Okay. So it wouldn't be too prudent unless it's an act where they're going to initially start making checks. For it.
It's like juggling it right out of the curtain. Yeah. That'd be a thing. Let's hope the Flamboni sisters don't do that.
Alrighty. I need everyone to give me perception checks, please.
Ooh. Perception, you say?
Yes.
Oh, this is going to go swimmingly.
14.
I rolled a natural 1 for a total of 4.
11 with a perception of 6 is 17.
Nice.
Okay, so
I got a total of 5 with a roll of 5 on the die.
I think this is going to go into dice jail.
alrighty. Give me a second, because I figured at least one of you would get this, but
17 doesn't do it.
14 either.
For
Oh, jeez.
so let's see.
We're too busy trying to help the others keep their shit together.
This is something to try and basically, let me see. The crowd. I'm sorry, just the writing in this one is a little bit weird. Yeah, that's if you do that. Yeah, so basically, you don't notice this until they get exceedingly loud and raucous, in which case everyone notices it. But apparently there are two gentlemen, roughneck looking guys, bowler hats, kind of almost look like Reginald, but don't have the same nice disposition.
So evil Reginald.
It's the bowler hats. It's always the bowler hats.
And they seem to be shaking people down for bets. Now this is happening while Axel's show is happening. So his show hasn't concluded, but as it's getting close to the end of his act, you notice these guys are basically causing a problem for the audience, and they're starting to not be amused.
Someone want to go take care of that?
Take care of what?
Oh.
There's some guys being very rude to our
They kind of look
patrons.
like you, but bad.
I don't know what that looks like. But
Reginald, they're dressed like you, but they don't act like you act. And there seems to be a couple of them. There's only 2 other people out there that are dressed similarly to you. They have bowler hats on.
Well, I guess I can go have a conversation with these gentlemen and find out what seems to be the problem.
I'll join you for that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so Axel's doing his performance. You guys are helping out in the back. So for anyone who's actually not performing, and it doesn't have to be now, but you do have the option of doing another type of job backstage, if you choose to. It's not something that you have to do, but if you want to, you can do one of the other backstage activities. If that's something that you want to do, let me know, and then I will give you your options. Let's see. Nope, it's not that one. Just looking at it. Where is he?
Well, I could probably help backstage since I'm not performing and I'm not out trying to deal with these rabble rousers.
Yeah, I think if we've got people like this in the audience, Reginald can go into bouncer mode.
Okay. So,
Yeah, Shepard would probably do the same thing.
Alrighty. Sorry, I had to find it. Lots of things to manage for the circus. All right. So, the things you can do that are non-performer activities are you can be an animal handler. So basically, if you're an animal handler, trick checks with the animal trait are given a +2 circumstance bonus. And if a PC is doing it, they can who has animal trait can perform twice in the same show. So if someone decides to take the animal handler backstage non-performer role, they give a +2 circumstance bonus to any acts that have the animal trait. If the act is a PC, they get to actually perform twice. You're not allowed to. You can't. Your trick can be. You can engage your trick, perform your trick 3 times within your act slot, but you as a performer or the NPCs cannot occupy more than 1 act slot in a performance. Does that make sense?
Makes sense now.
So you couldn't be the opener and the big number.
Right.
This is something that would allow someone with the animal trait, if they were a PC, to be able to break that rule. I don't think that's something we can do right now because no one is using animals, but something to think about. You can be a backup clown. So if you're a backup clown, performers can send in the clowns 1 additional time per act. So during an act, if there is a failure or a critical failure, you can send in the clowns to decrease the penalty. So if you fail, you can send in the clowns as an action, and then they will turn your failure to a success. However, you generate less excitement. Same thing for a critical failure. It'll actually turn a critical failure into a regular failure. You may or may not get some excitement, but you don't get the penalty for the critical failure if you send in the clowns. You can only do that once per act. If one of you guys decides to be a backup clown, you get to basically do a send in the clowns an additional time per act.
Okay.
I could do that.
Well, let me finish.
Okay.
So there's band leader. After each trick is completed, the band leader can choose to generate anticipation equal to half the band leader's level rounded up. The circus must have acoustics permanently upgraded before a PC can choose the band leader role. So that's something, if anyone is deciding they're going to perhaps take up some musical persuasion in the future, you can archetype dedication into a bard if you want to go full-blown performer. There's the carnival barker. The carnival barker draws in more audience members as the show goes on. They increase the show's maximum anticipation. For every successful trick check performed, the carnival barker can choose to increase the show's maximum anticipation by 5. So here's something you need to be aware of: anticipation versus excitement. If you want the circus to pay out fully, the excitement you generate has to exceed the amount of anticipation you've garnered. Depending on the prestige level of your circus, you have a max anticipation that you can have. At first level, it's 20. It's already been done because Myron, rest his soul, already took care of all that stuff for you guys. So if you wanted to, if you think you're going to have an amazing performance and one of you chooses to do this, you can increase the anticipation per successful performance, which will give you a higher payout. But the chance you're taking is you don't get enough excitement to exceed the anticipation, and then you don't get a full payout. So that's the risk reward for doing the barker. Not saying you can't do it. I just want you to be fully aware that if you choose to take on the role, you want to be aware of how much excitement you have currently versus how much anticipation. And if you ever need to know during a performance, I have bookkeeping stuff for all that stuff, and I'll let you know, so that way you can make a decision whether or not you want to try and up the anticipation for a higher payout or not. All right. You can also be a clown coordinator. If you are a clown coordinator, you can send in the clowns as a reaction instead of using one action. So basically, if you're a clown coordinator, you can have whoever's their performer use their reaction to bring in the clowns instead of having to actually use an action to do it.
Okay.
So that's another one. You can be a costumer. Performers get a +1 circumstance bonus to trick checks with the audience trait. You almost had that. You don't have anyone with the audience trait right now because Rojan decided to go a different way with his trick. You can be lighting. Performers gain a +1 circumstance to deception and thievery trick traits. The circus must have the spotlight permanent upgrade before PCs can choose the lighting role. So that's something you can buy in the future. So just be aware of that. That's what you would need to actually be able to take on that role. You can be a medic. Performers can't become injured from critical failing tricks within the injury trait. So if someone decides to be a medic and a performer during the night critically fails, they cannot be injured. So you save them from a critical failure and actually rolling for injury. So that is an option.
Is that a medicine check?
No. You basically take on the role as the medic, and should a performer critically fail, you're the one that runs out and patches them up before anything bad can happen that would prevent them from like being able to continue. So it's like you would have to envision it like you run off and you slap on the Care Bear Band-Aid and you're just like, yeah, you got this, and just keep going. Because remember, you can only be injured with the injury trait if you critically fail. So
shake it off, kid.
Yeah, so that roll actually will prevent that from happening. You can be a pyrotechnic. Trick checks with the fire trait generate double excitement if you choose to be a pyrotechnic. You can also be a security guard. Any roles of hecklers or scalpers so basically there are random circumstances that happen in the circus there are already pre-generated ones for the first performance, so you don't have to worry about that. However, future performances, if someone decides to be a security guard, if the role for the random event for an act is either scalpers or hecklers or something like with those two events, having a bodyguard on site prevents that penalty from happening.
Okay.
And those are all the non-performer roles you can do. None of them right now. Well, not none of them right now. Some of them right now will actually be very helpful depending on how you guys want to play it out. And particularly the medic and the pyrotechnic, because you chose to have the Flamboni sisters perform, and the medic role would prevent injury of any critical failures to an act.
Okay.
I think since I'm not doing I'm not performing, I could take the bodyguard role.
Alrighty. So security guard role, so it won't affect anything for this particular performance, but you're still, it still falls in line with what you're doing. You're going out to like handle the ruffians who are basically disturbing your guests. So
can there be more than one for that?
Yeah. if Shratha wants to go out as well, and crack her knuckles behind Reginald, and just be like,
That would be exactly what she would do.
It's like you guys are
Muscle brigade over here.
Pretty much.
It's like you guys are causing a disturbance.
I would join the muscle crew, but I'm in the performance tonight. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll have that one day.
You, sir.
The medic role would be a good fit for me, I think.
Alrighty. So I have Gwennon being the medic. We have Shartha and Reginald being bodyguards. I have to double check. I don't think you can have two people in the same role, but considering it doesn't really matter, it's not an issue at this moment. So you guys, you work your way into the crowd, and you see these guys, and they're like, "Yeah, what do you want? You gonna make a bet or what?" Like I'm betting that guy's birds over there are gonna poop on someone's head. And we got odds on the fire chicks burning down the whole tent. And we think the water chick's gonna drown. That's gonna be awesome. We got like really good odds on that one.
Well, that's just a little morbid, don't you think?
We got to give the people what they pay for, right? And then when he says that, he puts like this big burly arm around like some guy's like neck, and he like shakes. He's like, "Right, you want to bet, right?"
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you and your friends to leave.
All right.
This is not a gambling hall or an establishment where such actions are.
Alrighty, I need you to give me a diplomacy check.
I actually have diplomacy for once.
Hey.
Should I assist him on that or no?
All right, so for aid works differently in Pathfinder. So how aid works is you make the same check that whoever you're aiding makes. If you make a DC 20 on your check, you give the other person a +2 circumstance bonus to their check. It is very odd. I am
familiar with this with the original Pathfinder.
Yes, I've been trying to get someone to explain to me how this works, because if you make the 20, you pretty much made the check in most circumstances.
Right.
Yeah, but, I mean,
I'm not 100% sure why Paizo went that route, but that is how aid works. If you want to aid, that is how you have to do it.
Okay, so I just roll with him, basically.
Yeah, you roll with him. If you you don't get a penalty if you fail or critically fail. You don't like deter his roll. You just aren't able to aid him.
All right.
Okay.
I got a 17.
I actually got a 17 too. I got 16 and then 1.
Alrighty, so you are unable to resolve the issue diplomatically, and they're like, "So you're trying to stop our action?" It's like, no, it's like we ain't having none of that, and sadly, it's an issue.
It's an initiative.
And Reginald just puts his fists up. Suit yourself.
Alright, so Reginald. I need a society check from you, please.
Society check.
Yes.
That will be a 6.
You rolled a 6 total?
Yeah, 3 + 3.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Ugh. Alrighty.
Hey, at least I'm getting these rolls out of the way before I make the trapeze artists break their necks.
Yeah. Is Shratha is Shratha trained in society?
Yes, she is.
Alrighty. Since you're trained in society, can you also please give me a society check?
Let me redo that. That looks free. There we go. Oh, great. I got a 7.
All right. So, as far as either of you know, everything's fine.
So, where is initiative on?
It's also the same as your perception.
Yep. Give me a second. I need to open up my initiative tracker.
Oh, there we go. Initiative. Oh, wait. I didn't want to roll that. I just thought if I clicked on it. So my perception and my initiative are the same?
Yeah. So basically, how
Weird.
how initiative works in Pathfinder is, you were technically in exploration mode. So when you're in exploration mode, the activity you're doing in exploration mode can be used for your initiative instead of perception. So let's say you're a thief and you're stealthing and you have like an amazing stealth roll. You can choose to use your stealth roll as opposed to your perception roll as initiative if initiative happens while you are sneaking. Does that make sense?
But if I'm not sneaking, then what is it?
You would use your normal perception. By default, it's perception.
That is weird.
It is. It really is. But it's mostly like, oh, I'm actually paying attention to the scenario around me.
It's basically it's to infer combat awareness
Instead of like your dexterity.
Exactly. So,
I gotcha. Okay.
So let me do this. Okay. And these are, let's go 20, so I need to zoom in. All right. So I am not going to populate the stands with people because screw that noise.
But fodder.
Yeah.
But how can I grab people from the stands and use them as weapons?
How can I beat a motherfucker with another motherfucker?
You can do that. I'm just not going to make.
They're not gonna be happy with this. They'll never come back ever again.
Part of the show.
Not to mention, I don't think Reginald is the type of person that would use innocent civilians as weapons.
Okay,
Fair enough.
Where are the NPCs? Come on.
Oh my goodness.
What about one of the throwing dwarves?
That's another story.
That's their job to be thrown. So
Just call them over a little bit. But hey, I need you.
Alrighty. I need you as a token. Sorry, just.
it's all good.
These particular guys are not on my token sheet.
Oh no.
Let's see. You're not monsters.
Did you want to
there
take
we go.
the break before we get into this, Azrin?
Oh, we got. Are we at that time?
We're at 2:00. We're like
okay,
11
cool.
after 2.
Thank you for keeping me honest.
Yep.
All right, guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little break. Please stretch your legs, have a drink, use the bathroom, do all that fun, happy stuff. We shall return in, let's say, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah, between 5 and 10 minutes.
All right.
And we'll go from there. All right. We'll see you guys then. Okay, so your guys are muted, and Be Right Back is up, so you should be good to go. And we're
Well,
back.
I keep like I think even at level 1 I have I would have stabilized, but that's for a dying creature, not dead.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or
I don't know
I'm
if
talking
that,
about
like, I
your-
wondered about casting stabilize.
Yeah, at that point I was like,
yeah, I think if he's dead, stabilize won't work.
and neither would cure wounds or healing word, because
Yeah.
it doesn't really do anything for the dead. It only affects those that are still alive-ish.
Alive-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Ish.
If I had the raise dead spell, I just be like, I cast raise dead.
Uh,
Oh, there goes the diamond.
Not yet. One of my other clerics does. Perhaps I could call her.
I meant like on the necromancy side. Now we have a zombie ringmaster.
Thank you for your soul.
I'm the evil Shang Tsung.
You mean the normal one?
The normal one.
Oh, are we back?
Yes, we are. I said, "Hi, we're back."
Oh, didn't hear it. I did not hear that.
Oh boy. All right.
Man. Alrighty. So let's get into this. Just a question for anyone watching the stream. Does the stream look clear to you, or does it look phasey and mushy?
Looks clear to me.
Okay.
Looks
good.
clear. And...
Okay, so it's probably just me because I'm running a bunch of crap on my computer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Just making sure. I just want to make sure everyone can actually see the stuff and whatnot. Alrighty.
They'll be sure to give us updates.
Hope you're having a good time. I am having a great time, Groudon. Thank you very much. Like I was telling Groudon, this is my first time actually streaming in like almost 2 years. I have DM'd on and off a couple one-shots here and there. I've done a couple things for Society Play. But this is the first campaign I've gotten back into, since at least a good 5-6 years. I haven't run a full-blown campaign in a very long time. It's a much different experience than running one-shots and short adventures. Onesie-twosies are okay, but this should last for a while. Just in case anyone was wondering, this campaign does go through to level 20, should they all survive that long. So you'll get to see lots of crazy stuff. And with that, let's get over to our map so we can have some good old-fashioned shenanigans. Okay. Here. So let's move you guys over here. All right. Good. I can see the map. Alrighty. So, the other performers are backstage, and they're pretty much on the other side of the ring. So, you guys, if you are going to choose to engage, need to let me know, because as it stands right now, you are not in engagement zone. Reginald and Shratha have gone out to take care of business, and you guys are handling things on the other side of the map. So, with that, I'm going to.
I'd say that as soon as I knew that they were going off to handle things, I was just making sure no one else was also having, like, existential crisis.
Oh, cold feet.
Yeah.
Or is in need of a band-aid or something.
In need of a band-aid or something? Yeah, okay.
I got a boo-boo. What'd you do? I touched the splinter.
It played in the fire.
That's your act.
Keep the snake away from the lion, those kinds of things.
All right. Yeah. So
the owlbear does not like anyone. Sorry.
That could be kind of interesting if this Mr. Tickles is a cobra and our other Tickles is a rat. Just saying.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So that is that. Give me a second here. Just want to get these guys onto the map.
Can we assume that the only animal in the circus is that boa constrictor thing?
In addition to the birds and the boa constrictor, the only other animal of notoriety is a acrobatic bear that was a part of the previous circus you all escaped from, and sadly, during that escapade of getting yourselves free of the other circus, the owner of the bear sadly passed while trying to escape Escadar, and because the bear is so well trained, anyone with any sort of ability with animal training or anything like that can actually do the act, because the bear is kind of on autopilot.
Right. Okay.
Can the bear walk a tightrope?
No, but he can balance on a ball.
Huh.
Animal handling falls under what?
That would be nature.
Ooh.
So if you're trained in nature, you can basically make animal checks and things of that nature.
I'm not trained, but I have to be trained. Just a modifier isn't good enough.
For the purposes of using the bear in the circus, you would have to be trained.
Okay.
You can make untrained in nature checks for doing certain things with animals. However, the DC is significantly higher because you're untrained.
Okay.
You don't have the expertise needed to do the thing.
Should we be telling you if we're trained in certain skills?
I will ask you from time to time to make a check, and I will ask you if you're trained in it, because that will determine whether or not you can or can't, or what your DC check is actually going to be, trained versus untrained.
Alrighty,
and you.
So does anybody have that nature training?
Nope.
Okay.
So the bear will not be used.
The NPCs do. They can.
Yeah, the NPCs could, but.
Alrighty, so you should see yourselves on the tracker. I added you both there.
Just at our roll an ad.
Yep. Are you guys on there?
Yeah,
yes,
they're all okay, four are in there. 2 bad guys, and then.
Why did your tokens not do the thing?
Yeah, I don't have access to it. I can't move him.
All right, hold on a second.
Let me see something.
No, I'll fix it. Give me a second here.
I was gonna ask if you added the token itself to the character sheet.
I did, and I saved it, and now it's not there. So that is weird. Because I did it last night, and I saved it. I thought maybe because I used a different token, it didn't actually save the token.
Oh.
Let's see.
Well, I rolled a 1 for a total of 4.
You need to burn your dice, sir.
Do you have another set, perhaps, you could bring out?
That's the third dice tonight that I've rolled that. Oh, we're huge creatures now.
Oh my.
Oh my goodness.
Fix your...
Yeah, the only thing in my character sheet bio is the actual art.
Yeah, that's the bio. That's fine. But let's see. Token. So weird. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna remove. Yes. Use selected. Okay. Oh, I know why. Okay, because I forgot Roll20 doesn't automatically update character sheets, and I added the tokens before I made the modifications. So it took the tokens in the they're not associated state. Roll20, I love you. Please fix this. I'm not the only DM that does this. It's like I am not the only DM that does this. I have had lengthy conversations with other DMs who do this same thing. Please have the token automatically update. I don't know what you need to do for that. Oops, blue bar is hit points. There we go. Alright. So since we're getting into combat, I'm going to explain to you hero points. So there is a system in Roll20 called the hero point system. And basically, per adventure, you can have up to 3 hero points. Everyone starts off with 1. Save changes. Alright, cool. So how hero points work is, should something horrible happen to your character, like, you know, you're gonna lose a limb, you fail a roll you really need to make, you're given a whoopsie, and that is a hero point. You basically cash in your hero point, and sorry,
Wasn't me.
No, just trust me. I'm in an area of the U.S. where this is happening constantly, so I'm happy that I've only heard this siren once on this Saturday. Usually it's a lot more, so I'll take that as a sign of like things getting better.
Okay.
So basically, it's a get out of jail free card. You can as characters petition me to give someone a hero point if they do something that you find to be particularly amazing, and you think they should be rewarded for it. If I agree, I will give them a hero point so they can add to their tally. And for usually under normal, since it's kind of like an introductory, we are not starting off in the campaign and going through. Usually what I do is after about an hour or so of gameplay, I will ask the party if, like every hour, I'll ask the party if there's someone that they feel. I'm going to turn these off because these are just getting in the way. I will ask the party if they feel someone in the party actually did something of note that they think deserves a hero point, and then I will give that person a hero point because they did something the party thinks was cool after a particular amount of time, and that'll just, you know, like I said, it's just it's a little whoopsie. Things can get a little bit crazy in Pathfinder for anyone who's played Pathfinder before. The other thing you can do to your hero points is if you have your hero points, and should you have the unfortunate circumstance of dying, which is really hard to do in Pathfinder. It's not easy to just take out a character in Pathfinder. If you were to die, if you cash in all of your hero points, regardless if you only having one, you can use that to be back at 1 hit point and stabilized. So instead of being dead, you're back alive and all of your counters are reset for death.
And then you run like hell.
Yep. Okay. There we go. Now I can actually see stuff for you guys. Excellent. Alrighty. Sorry about that. I'm gonna have to fix the other characters too because I know their tokens are gonna be broken as well. But you should be able to change your initiative to whatever you had before, and then we'll get into the combats.
Are we taking the rolls from before we went on break, or is this a completely different thing?
The ones the ones you just did for this combat.
Okay. So I got a 11 and then a +3 to my perception. So.
All right, awesome. Do descending. PCs have advantage on ties. Alrighty. So 14. Shathra. What do you want to do? Remember, you have 3 actions. Movement counts as an action.
All right. I'm gonna take on the giant up here. That's to us, and I'm just gonna punch him.
Okay. Are you gonna do lethal or non-lethal damage? Actually, are you trained to?
Yes. Yep. Trained in an arm.
Okay. So, that's right, because you have. Did you go with the Iron Fist?
Yep. I did. I didn't get the description for it. I need the description for it.
Okay, because I think with Iron Fist, you cannot do non-lethal damage with your fists.
Can I not use Iron Fist, or is that I have to do lethal damage?
It's your bone density is such that your fist counts as a cudgel.
You are literally Iron Man or Iron Woman in this case.
Oh no! Well, we might have another casualty.
Let's see.
You can break the bone. Just don't bleed him out dry.
So, Iron Fist. Your fists have been forged by battle. Your naturally tough skin and dense bone further hardened by conflict. Your fist unarmed attacks no longer have the non-lethal trait and gain the shove weapon trait. So, you can choose to, if you want to not do lethal damage with your fist, you can actually shove him and make a shove attempt to shove them down.
I'll do that. I don't want to kill these people.
Alrighty. So as a weapon trait, how shove works is you can add your item bonus to your shove. So because you're using your fist, your item bonus is your strength modifier.
Okay.
Since you don't have any other items that would increase your punching prowess.
No, I don't. So do I roll for attack first, or?
Yep. Give me a second here. So basically, what it is, it's an opposed check against. Hold on. Let's see. So it's going to be an opposed check. I think it's his fortitude. Let's see. Push an opponent away from you, attempting an athletics check against the opponent's fortitude DC. All right. That's right. It was fortitude. Alrighty. So basically, you make an athletics check, and then you add your weapon. You add your strength modifier to the athletics check because you have proficiency. So your fist is a weapon with the shove trait.
Okay, so do I?
You have to roll.
So I have with the trained, and then modifiers
so you roll a punch.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Roll for
you
attack.
roll
Yeah.
a punch. You make an athletics check.
Yeah.
Trained or untrained, regardless, whatever you have on your character sheet, you make an athletics check. However, in addition to whatever bonuses you naturally have, you add whatever your strength modifier is to the roll.
Got it.
And then we're gonna see if that beats his fortitude.
Oh, here we go. 13.
Alrighty, so let's see, 13, and your fortitude is, yep, that is a no-go.
Nah. Yep.
So you basically like you push him and like his shoulder goes back and he's like, you trying to start something, little lady?
I wouldn't call me little if I were you.
All right, so you have one action left. You can try to shove again, but if you do, you have agile.
Yes.
Your fist, so for your fist.
Oh, for my fist? I'm not sure about that.
So then, if you don't have your fist, so you can make another shove attempt, but you make it with a -5 to the check. Because
can I just throw a punch now? Because now he pissed her off.
It's still gonna be a -5.
Still gonna be -5. Okay.
Because when you use shove, normally is not an attack action, but when you use it in combat, it's an attack action. So because it's on a weapon. So
right. Well, I made my attempt, but next time he's gonna get a punch.
All right. So you're gonna bail
That's
on the
the
third
end of my
action?
turn.
All right.
Yeah.
So you end your turn. All right. That's perfectly fine. All right. So it's the ruffians go, and let's see. And he's like, "Oh, you want to go fisticuffs, eh?" It's like, "Yeah, let's do it." Does AC 15 hit you?
Nope.
Alrighty, so that is a miss. And he's gonna try to punch you again. Okay. That is -5, so that's 2. So that's another 15, so that's another miss. Actually, it's 14. Actually, it's a 14 because he has agile. Does a 16 hit you?
Close, but no, I had 17 with an AC. I invested a lot in that.
And that is also a miss. So basically, he's just like, and just whiffs like all 3 times. And you see the crowd immediately around you guys starting to like kind of get into it. They're like, yeah, it's like, knock them out. And the other ruffian goes. So let's see. You are. Okay, so we'll just say it was this guy. This guy comes up here.
I would just say, in a gypsy carnival, this man would already be on the ground. Everyone would be sharing his gold. Or silver and copper.
Damn Vistani. I have characters that have Vistani as KOS. If they find out you're Vistani, they just basically will try to murk you. Then there's nothing you can say to stop them.
Damn.
Yeah, I've had people that have spent too much time in Ravenloft.
It's like, oh, you're a carny?
All right, so does a 16 hit Reginald? You're muted, sir.
It does for now.
Okay. Alrighty, so let's see.
Because I don't think I can activate Mountain Stance until my turn, correct?
Correct. Not until your turn.
Yeah. Even though it's a flourish?
Yeah, because the flourish is an action, it's not a reaction.
Gotcha.
So you would spend your first action to initiate the flourish. That would put you in the stance, and then successively from then on you would have the benefits of being in the stance.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let's see. 5. All right, so you're gonna take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
Give me a perception check.
You're asking the guy who got a 1. Okay, that's better. That's gonna be a 19.
Alrighty. You know that this punch that connected is non-lethal.
Okay.
So he's gonna try again. That is miss. Let's see. Yes, agile. So that is.
I think we found your axe next punching bags.
So that's 9. All right. So he rolled really high, even with the -9. He still hits a 16, so he hits you again.
Yep.
Another 5 points of damage.
Okay.
Alrighty. It is now Reginald's go.
All right. So first thing I'm doing is I'm activating Mountain Stance, which knocks my AC up to 17.
Alrighty. I'm trying to remember what else does it do. It has more than one benefit, right?
Yeah. So what Mountain Stance does is, let me bring it up here. It's on skills, I think.
Yeah, and I have the compendium for the advanced player's guide, so you can also bring it up in the compendium. It should be listed.
I could just click on it.
If you go to the eye and you put in Mountain Stance should be listed.
Oh, yeah, I have it right here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
So while in Mountain Stance, you gain a +4 status bonus to AC and a +2 circumstance bonus to defend against things or attacks such as being shoved or tripped. However, your dexterity modifier cap is AC of +0, meaning you don't add your dex modifier to your AC, and your speeds are all reduced by 5 feet. But I do have the feat of Fleet, which adds 5 feet to my movement speed.
Cool. Awesome. Alrighty.
And then I'm going to attack with signature Flurry of Ones.
A flurry of ones. All right. Are you doing lethal or non-lethal damage?
Oh, non-lethal.
All right.
Non-lethal.
Other question I have for you. What are you going to use your key on this attack?
I am not using my key because I have Key Rush for my my key ability
you got the
right
charge?
now.
Okay.
Yeah. So so these are just straight up D8 punches.
All right.
How do you do to natural 20s?
So you rolled 2 natural 20s?
No, I rolled a natural 20.
All right. So natural 20 is, so if with the 20 you would get a hit, it is the success is elevated, so you perform a critical hit. So with a critical hit, how damage is mitigated is all die rolls and damage modifiers to the die roll are doubled. So
okay.
So the die you roll for your damage and your strength modifier are doubled for.
So I would roll a 2d8 instead of. So
how I like to do it is you basically roll what you would do once normally,
and then you roll it
and
again.
Then you just double whatever the outcome was, because it just makes it the easiest.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So for the first strike, that's a total of 27. Does that hit?
It hit AC 27. Yeah.
AC 27. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
that is going to be a total of 18 bludgeoning damage.
All right. So you just see his eyes roll into the back of his head, and he just goes just slumps to the ground. I'm presuming you're punching green, correct?
Yeah, I'm punching green.
Yeah. He is not dead, but he is knocked the fuck out.
Okay.
He's in his happy place right now. So let's see. I have to talk to a friend of mine. A friend of mine found a way to change these tokens.
I normally just mark him with the X.
Oh, I know, but he's not dead.
Oh, this is true. Okay.
I mean,
he just has severe back pain.
It's gonna mark him with an X because he's out of hit points, but he's not dead.
Gotcha. Now, since I threw Flurry of Blows, I still have one other punch. Can that be directed at the other guy?
Yep, because the other person is within reach.
Okay.
That'd be wise, because if I punch him, he's gonna die.
That's going to be a total of 21 to hit.
21 is a hit. It is not a crit.
Yeah, it's not a crit. I didn't roll a natural 20. It was
no. Well, so here's another thing. So in Pathfinder, if you roll an action and the resultant is 10 or higher than what the check is, it is considered a critical.
I got you. So like, say if their armor class was 16, if I hit a 26, it would be a critical hit.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Nope. Okay, so this is just normal damage. That is going to be a total of 12 damage.
12? All right.
Non-lethal as well.
So, same thing. Rock'em, sock'em, roboted that guy. Like they're both just knocked out. So basically, the monk comes up and just, you know, demos both of the ruffians, and they basically just, like, you know, slump to the ground. They're just like knocked out. They're obviously not dead. They're obviously incapacitated. The crowd around you is ecstatic. They're like, yeah, awesome. And like as you knock out the second guy, Axel's act actually concludes, and like there's a rain of candy falling down around you after you knock out the second guy.
They're pinatas.
Nice. No tickets, only candy.
All right. So you guys take these, like, as you guys take them off to the back, you know, area, so that way they can be escorted off grounds by other people. Everyone's like, you know, yeah, awesome. You know, people are like screaming like your name. They're like, yeah, that's the strong man, Reginald. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, one guy's like, I'm gonna call him the Hammer. Yeah.
Can I just like, try to hype up the crowd a little bit more just by flexing for all of them?
If you want to give me a performance roll, sure.
I will give you a performance roll.
You may as well have that little smile too.
Don't roll a 1.
That is going to be a total. I rolled a 17, so a total of 21.
21. All right, yeah, that's definitely, you know, the crowd is like, you know, extra ecstatic as to what's going on. They're just like, you know, yeah, dude, we love it. That was awesome. Let's see.
If only cameras existed.
So with what you have done there, you actually convert one of Axel's successes into a critical success.
Nice.
Wow.
All you got to do is go into the crowd and punch people, and they just love it.
That's how you start a carnival.
Yep. Great way.
Okay, and alrighty, so I'm gonna move you guys back over here. Alrighty, so
how do just a quick question, how does regaining HP work in the game?
You either have to rest, and you gain it naturally. I believe I forget how many points you get an hour per rest. It's not a short rest scenario like in 5e.
Gotcha.
If somebody in the party has the medicine trait, has the medicine skill, and they're trained, as long as they have a healer's kit, they can perform a medicine check on you and give you D8 hit points back. I think it's more depending on certain circumstances, or in combat, if they have the battle medic ability, they can actually do a medicine check on you while in combat instead of actually doing like a heal or a cure or something like that.
But like cure spells and everything still exists, correct?
They do, yeah. It's cures, potions, all that fun stuff.
Okay.
And I'm actually wearing my bandolier with my healer's kit in it, and I have the training.
Alrighty. Sorry, I'm just making adjustments to the performance sheet. One of the people in the Pathfinder community, um, I think their podcast is called Combat Dice or something. One of the people who's affiliated with that particular troop, when I asked for tips on this particular adventure, sent me a spreadsheet that basically handles the majority of the circus minutia for me. So awesome. Shout out to those guys. Thank you so much, because this thing was a nightmare. I was trying to figure out how I would spreadsheet this thing, and I'm like, poof. Thank you for letting me glom off your work. much appreciated. Alrighty, so we're going into the second act. So we have the dwarves and the tightrope. Alrighty, so as the build-up acts are preparing, and you guys see that the Reginald and Shathra are escorting these ne'er-do-wells off site. The one of the Benali family, actually the entire Benali family, are having what seems to be a very serious conversation by the curtains.
I was paying attention for more heated discussion, so I guess I'll wander over and ask if it's something we can help with.
So one of the... Did it actually change? Oh, I didn't, because I didn't move the marker. That's why. I did move the marker. That was weird. I don't know why that didn't change. So one of them comes up to you, and they're like, I don't think we can perform tonight.
And why is that?
They, like one of the guys who's in charge of their rigging, shows that someone cut our nets. Like you think maybe whoever off the ringmaster is trying to get rid of us too?
I'll inspect it real quick. And is it right there in front of us?
Yeah, they hand you the net. Are you going with Cantrell, Gwennon?
Yes, I could do that.
Alrighty. So give me, since Cantrell, you have the net, give me a perception check, please.
Okay.
And do I give one as well for aid, Ben?
You can. Are you trained in nature?
No.
Okay, then if you wish to aid, you can if you want to. You have to basically roll a DC 20 on perception, and you'll give Cantrell a +2 to his check.
Well, it's worth. I mean, there's no downside to rolling, right?
There's no downside to aiding.
Sure. Okay. All right.
You either succeed or you don't.
No.
Alrighty. What'd you roll?
Well, with a 0 modifier, I have a natural 20.
Alrighty. So it is a success.
Okay.
So let's see. Hero succeeds. So basically, you look at the net, and you're looking at it. You're sniffing at it, and it looks like the net's been gnawed on by mice.
Tell you what. Does it look like it's going to be functional for what they're doing? Would it break their fall?
The net itself in its current condition would not be able to support someone falling from the tightrope. However, it was not purposely cut by a person.
Okay.
Somehow, some way, rodents of some species got to the nets and damaged them.
All right. After seeing all this, knowing what's going on, I will inform the family to not perform. Gwynnon, I think you're going to need to step up, or one of the other two is going to need to step up as well. More on that later. The family, I am going to instruct them to go check out the crates and everything that was holding these nets for possible rat infestation. So all of that family can go put eyes on the stockpile.
Okay. So who are you getting to replace the Featherfall 5 for the
They're
build up?
supposed to be one of the next coming.
Yep, they're supposed to be doing the build up.
I will ask Gwynnon, since she's right there, if she's willing to perform right away.
Okay, I would be able to do that.
Okay.
Alrighty, so let me make a change to the sheet here. Hold on.
Now, would I be doing regular juggling or my signature trick?
You do your signature trick. Whenever you
Okay.
perform in the show, it's your signature trick.
And since I have time, I guess I can assist in a little bit of a search through all the. Well, actually, I'll be around this staging area, just making sure no one else has problems.
Alrighty, hold on. Let's see.
Would Reginald have made his way back to a place where I could use my medical kit on him?
I would say before you have to go on, he would show back up behind the curtain. And if you want to do a medicine check to see if you can heal him, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, all right. So that would be a 17 with 6 would be 23.
23, check is 15. That's a regular success, so yep.
So he gets 1d8 hit points back.
That is correct.
So, oops, he'll regain 3.
Alrighty.
Better than nothing.
Yep.
And you can actually
better.
you cannot receive healing in that way again for an hour. So,
Alrighty.
So let's see. So we're doing that.
Does this deplete my medical resources in any way that I have to track?
I take a look at the medical kit and see if it has charges. I think as long as you're actively collecting things for it, once you have the kit, you're okay. But just double check.
Okay.
So let's see. Alrighty. So performing now are the Dwarven Throwers and Gwynnon. So the interim ring master is basically announcing the act. So the Dwarven Throwers come out, Gwynnon comes out. You're going to be on the side rings. So who is going to roll for the Dwarven Throwers?
I will be.
Yeah, you go for it. You go for it.
Alrighty. So everyone's looking over at the Dwarven Throwers. They're like, yeah, it's like awesome. It's like, this is gonna be great. Let's see. Oh, got the wrong area.
Send him to the stars.
Kind of. Like, there's a lot of excitement. It's like, alrighty. So I need, and let's see. All right. So So they have, for their particular performance, it is a acrobatics check or an athletics check. Both are at different pluses. Their acrobatics is a +7, and their athletics is a +10. Which one do you want to make?
Does choosing each or change their trick, or?
You have 3 actions. You can choose. You can choose either, but remember, when you perform the trick a successive time in the same act, you take the action penalty. So the first so they get 3 chances to wow the audience with the act. The first time, no minuses. Second time, -5, because they're not using agility at all. For actually, are they using agility? No, team. So they're not using the agility trait, so they take the full 5. And if they do it a third time, that's -10 for the trick. But they're like, we're ready to go, boss. Let's do it. So,
okay.
So as advice, since mechanics is new to everyone, because you're gonna be taking a penalty for the successive check, I would do the acrobatics check first, because the +7 is gonna have no penalty against it.
Okay.
The athletics check is a +10, so you're only gonna suffer a -2 for the second attempt, and a -5, I think, for the next attempt. So you're 3 down. I'm sorry. So yeah, -2, -5. Yeah. Because you're negating 3 from the roll.
Okay.
From 7.
So I'll probably just do the acrobatics first.
All right. So that's +7. Give me the check.
19.
Alrighty, that passes the DC. So that is a success.
And now the next one's gonna be -5.
So it's gonna be.
So I'm gonna do athletics, and then.
So it's gonna be your athletics check minus -2.
Okay, so -2. So 16. And then 16 -2 then.
No, it's because remember
they have +10.
They have a +10. So it's die roll +10 -2.
26 and then 24. Okay, 24.
Alrighty, 24, almost a critical success.
Nice.
Alrighty, so you got one more shot. This is gonna be with a -7 because it's
So 14 -7 is a 7.
Alrighty, so 14 -7 is 7. That's fine. It's a failure, but it's not a critical failure.
Yeah. Okay.
So, did anyone take the clown coordinator as the non-performer role? Okay. So you can't use a reaction to call the clowns in, and since it was their last action, that is going to stand as a failure. So there's no excitement for that, and everyone's like, there's like a mix of applause and some awes because they didn't get the final action off. But they're happy. They're running around. They're doing like thumbs up. Everything's good. Yeah, we're all right. No one broke anything. We're good. All right. So Gwenin, it's your premiere performance, my friend.
Okay, and I've got butterflies, not just on my costume. Alrighty, so the first roll then is with the athletics check.
Yep. So remember, you only have one trait, so it's always going to be athletics for yours.
Right. Okay. Ooh. So would be 7 + 3 would be a 10.
Alrighty. So that is unfortunately a failure. DC check is a 15. Start. So what you can do is, because it's a failure, you can send in the clowns and turn the failure into a success. But that'll be the only time you can use it during this act.
During my act.
Correct.
Okay, I think I would do that as my.
All right, so you're going to send in the clowns. You're going to turn the failure into success. Alrighty, so basically, you do it. It's like a little bit of nerves set in. The clowns come in. And they spritz you in the face with a seltzer bottle a little bit, and rub it off with a towel, and they're massaging your shoulders. Like a corner man or something like that. And they're like woo, and then one of them goes to trying to hit you in the face with a pie, but hits himself instead. And everyone's laughing, and they pretty much forgot the flub, and it's your second action. Are you gonna call it, or are you gonna try again?
Oh boy.
Try again.
Do you think I should?
Yeah.
Okay, but so it's just the D20 again, and I still get my bonus?
No, remember, your trick has the agile trait. So instead of a -5, you'll take a -4 penalty.
So a -4, and I still get to add my athletic skill onto it.
Correct. It's just the overall roll is -4.
Well, we'll give it a try. 13 and 3 would be 16. -4 would be 12.
That sadly a failure.
Oof.
Alrighty.
This isn't as easy as it looks.
It's hard. Alrighty, so you have one more action. What do you want to do? You can
I just bow gracefully?
You can bow gracefully. As you're bowing gracefully, I need a perception check.
Okay. Oh Lord. Ms. Oblivious here. A total of 8.
Okay. So let's see. So when you decide to bow out for the last action, there's a notable awe from the crowd, really loud, and then you hear someone scream, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's snakes in the stand!" And in the stands, give me a second here. Basically, let's see, you were in, give me left or right. Which ring would you have gone to?
Left.
Alrighty. So in the stands, 3 vipers become agitated, and they basically wiggle their way into the stands, and there is a noticeable panic amongst the crowd. Everyone else notices. You other 3 notice that there's some sort of commotion in the stands. You hear something about a viper or some sort of snake or something being in the stands. People are freaking out.
I immediately look at Eliza.
She looks at you and shrugs her shoulders. She's like,
Think you could do something about that?
She's like, "I'm not an adventurer. I'm a snake charmer."
Yeah, they're snakes.
Yeah, wild snakes. I didn't raise them.
You want more snakes?
Well, I'm security, so I guess I get to go out and deal with snakes now.
Yeah, do I do as well?
I mean, you don't have to.
All right.
I mean, we might as well. It depends how many there are.
We're gonna.
May I try to say something to calm the crowd?
Yeah.
And tell them that help is coming. To please stay calm, move away from the snakes.
Yep. Give me.
And security will be coming.
Quick second here. Thank you. Sorry. Just fat fingering things. Just want to set this up.
Can I also would I be able to motion Cantrell to come out and calm the crowd, since he seems to have a real aptitude for that?
I can try.
You can yell to him as a free action to come out and help.
I will do that.
Oh dear. And I'll start, guiding folks, away from certain stands that have the snakes in them.
Alrighty.
Just calmly move.
Okay.
As, bodyguards go to punch snakes.
As bodyguards go to punch.
This time might be lethal.
We're gonna punch him. Give me a second.
Punch the initiative.
I need to.
Please tell me one of them is named Randy and the other one is named Orton.
Oh God, no! Give me a second. I just need to fix your tokens since you're engaging in combat. Yes.
That'd be fine.
That'd be fine.
It's just snakes.
Just this way, please. This way. Come along now. Thought about it. I was like, no, I shouldn't be casting spells. That'd be bad.
Throw fireball into the stands. What can go wrong?
I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast fireball. No.
Would Reginald have healed up anymore or no?
No.
Okay.
So we're gonna.
Ugh. Let's see.
Do an edit. Remove. Yes.
I've got 2 spells. I'm trying to save them.
Yeah, we don't wanna use
level 1
those
wizard.
snakes.
Yep. It's pew pew, and then the rest are cantrips.
Yeah, it's pew pew, and then I'm a run. Well, technically I got 3 spells, but that's another story entirely.
So let's see.
I'm busy reading through my spells to see if I have charmed snakes, but no.
I
punch
believe the charm and fear spell, I believe, say target creature.
Yeah.
So you can charm or fear a snake. They qualify as a creature. So that is a thing you can do if you want to do.
Unfortunately, that wasn't one of the spells I had memorized when I prayed to my goddess in the morning.
Well,
I'll know for next time.
yep, it's an option. I don't know why you guys saved small. Alrighty. Everyone. You still didn't get saved correctly? Come on now. Sorry, Roll20 is being a butt. Apparently, when I click on Save Changes, it thinks it's an option and not a, not a thing it's supposed to do.
Dear.
It's like, Save Changes. I'll take it under advisement. It's like, no, save the freaking changes. Thank you. Ugh. And then move. You selected. Okay. And then same thing for you. There we go. Hopefully this will stay. We shall see. Alrighty. So back to the big top. Vipers are there. Gwenin is here. And then Neat. Control over here. Curtain along with Reginald and Shotharot. You guys are peeking through the curtains, watching your friend perform. Perfect. Okay, scene should have changed for you guys. Alrighty. I don't know why you're being a butt. Change to the big top. Thank you. Okay. Thank you much. I appreciate that. Alrighty, so it is initiative. Give me a second here. I'm gonna add you guys to the turn order. Alrighty, so everyone gives me initiative. It's gonna be a perception because no one was doing anything extra special outside of combat.
So we add our perception to the...
You're like under initiative. You basically roll your d20 and you add your perception modifier.
Oh my.
Perception 5. Okay, cool. So, Cantrell.
Yes.
I need your initiative, please.
Yes. 13.
Oh, you can put it in.
Let's see here.
Just type it into the field and hit enter, and you're
So-
good to go.
What is a stride in movement?
Whatever your max up to your maximum movement. So striding is moving.
Okay.
That's right. Okay.
Striding is moving, and a step is a 5-foot step to basically disengage. It's to move without provoke. And remember, stride is an action. You only get 3 actions per turn. Assuming. Alrighty. Gwenin, you are first and the closest.
Right.
The crowd is in an obvious panic. What are you going to do?
I am just seeing what the distance on my throwing knives is actually here. I don't want that tack. I just wanted to see the... Oh. I just wanted to see the distance for those. I think it's... I hit the wrong thing here. Where do I find the distance for my throwing knife?
Throwing knives have a range of 20.
Okay, so I can move 25 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I would do is, and do I have to go around the ring, or is the ring
It's like a
low
standard.
enough I can jump
It's like
over
a
it?
standard circus ring. It's like maybe 6 to 8 inches off the ground. You can step right
Okay.
over it.
All right, so I will move just to here.
Okay. Second action.
I want to leave enough room for everybody else. I think I will, that would be all I'm going to do. I don't want to get too close to them. But
there are other things you can do if you don't want to
5,
engage the snakes directly.
Okay. Actually, if I moved another 5 feet, I would be within range of that snake for throwing knife.
That would be a second movement.
Yeah, that would be my second movement.
If you chose to. So you can also try and see if you can calm the crowd down. That's another option for you.
I think I would prefer to take that as my third action.
So you're still going to move closer?
I would well, that I think I'll okay, maybe I'll stay there. So that would be my first action, and then I will try to calm the crowd.
Okay.
So that would be a persuasion roll?
Actually, so you're going to try and talk the crowd down, right?
Yes.
Actually, it's going to be a diplomacy check.
A diplomacy check, okay. Oh dear, I'm not doing well at that. That would only be 8.
So with that attempt, you're unable to. You can try again for your third action. There's no penalty for trying again because it's not a combat situation. Well, I mean,
okay.
You're in combat, but you're not using a combat action, so there's no penalty for you to try again.
Okay, I will do that. Maybe I'll take a different D20. I haven't been having very good luck with this one.
You didn't get the you didn't get the Extinction Curse ones in yet, did you?
They're on their way. 16.
16 is a success. You're able to get the crowd to part and move away from the little snakies, such that they won't be hurt by them or any of you guys.
All right, that's great.
All right. So then let's see. This Viper. What are you gonna do? So when everyone moves away from the snakes, it curls up and just like hisses at them and hisses at you in particular, because other people are moving away from the snakes, but you're moving towards them. And that's pretty much what it does. It just Alrighty, Reginald.
All right. So first off, I'm going to activate Key Rush, which allows me to move 2 times, either 2 strides at 2 steps or 1 stride in 1 step. So I'm going to do 2 strides here.
For the cost of 1?
Yep. Allowing me to move 70 feet. So I'm going to be there.
Now, does the part about the angles come in here?
I'll let you guys worry about. So So in Pathfinder, there are +5 angles. So the way +5 angles work in Pathfinder is this. I'm not going to give you guys the penalty for it because you're getting used to the system. So consider this like, free movement day. But this, I'm going to grab the ruler and I'm going to show you how the angles work. So in Pathfinder, from here to here is 5 feet. From here to here, it's already calculated in the because I have Pathfinder rulings turned on. Actually, if you use the ruler, then you're good. But as you can see, as I move into the second triangle, technically under 5e rules, that would be 10 feet because you moved into a second 5-foot square from a 5-foot square. However, because it's on a diagonal, Pathfinder takes into account the fact that diagonals are longer movement than straight lines. So when you move into a successive triangle, you move a successive diagonal, you tack on another 5 feet. So if you see here, it's 20 feet because it's the angle plus the angle, but here it's 30. Does that make sense?
It's like 5, 15, 20, 30.
I was using the ruler to measure out like what the feet were.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but that's how diagonals work in Pathfinder. So under normal circumstances, that wouldn't be 30 feet in 5e. That'd be a different marker. But in Pathfinder, that's 30. So, the ruler is set to do Pathfinder diagonals. So even if you do the click marking to do like pathing with the right clicks and left clicks, it'll still calculate the diagonals correctly. So,
gotcha.
So yeah, exactly. TBG is listing it. Yeah.
So now that I've done that, I can move again, correct?
So you spend a point of key to stride twice. That was your action.
Yeah.
So what is your max movement?
My max movement right now, since I don't have my mount stance on, is 35 feet.
So yes. God damn. So, and you're just a human, right? Oh, that's right, because you have
a human. I have fleet.
You took versatile, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So you move 70 feet. So you have 2 more actions. Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna move over here, and then I'm gonna activate mountain stance.
All right. So again, this Viper seeing a second person run up to them while everyone else is basically moving.
Sorry, I don't know if this does anything. It says I also gained the concealed condition until this during this movement and until the start of my next turn.
Yeah. So what concealed does is it just gives a it's not true concealed. You get the concealed benefit, but you're not. It does. It's you don't ninja. It's not like I'm not here anymore.
Smoke bomb.
It's you move so fast. They're like, oh, what the hell was that? So it's a reaction type circumstance bonus. But it's,
what does concealed give?
Concealed. I will tell you the condition for that. Come on, hamster, move your butt. Alrighty. So when you're concealed, this condition protects the creature if it's in mist, within dim light, or amid something else that obscures sight but does not provide a physical barrier to effects. So you basically do like an after image type deal because you move so damn fast. An effect
DBZ after image.
Yeah, pretty much. So when you target a creature that's concealed from you, so that means if something is going to attack you, they have to make a flat DC 5 check to see if they can even attack you.
Gotcha.
before they attack you. If they fail, they can't target you. If they make the check, then they can attack. They can react normally. So it's basically like a baby mirror image.
Gotcha.
Yeah, TBG is like 20% mischance. You know, so it's not because you only get it the one time.
Yep.
Alrighty, so let's back over here. So because you guys engaged, this Viper sees another adversary like getting close to them, and basically it's like spooked, and it's going to defend itself. It's like, you guys are bad. You're gonna do bad things to me, and I'm a little snake, and I feel scared. So let's see. Your movement is 20. So let's see. So it's gonna move straight down. So 10, 15, 20. Perfect. So it moves right there. And I know neither of you have attacks of opportunity because neither of you are fighters. And I'm going to do this because this is going to get a little bit goofy. So we're going to do compact bottom overlapping. There we go. I don't need to see the actual number in your bars, just how healthy you are. So, and it's going to try and attack Gwennon because she was the first one that advanced on them. So, let's see. You have a 8. Let's see. So I'm presuming a 23 hits you.
Yes, but as a reaction,
Okay.
do I get a reaction?
Yes, you do.
Can I cast my cantrip shield?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Does that increase your AC past 23?
It just says it blocks attacks and magic missiles.
Oh. They rewrote it. Okay. Give me a second.
That's just the short version here. Maybe I can, let's just see here.
I'm just going to double check real fast. Hold on. Spell descriptions.
There's the description.
Shield. Abjuration. Cantrip and Force. Arcane Divine and Occult Traditions. Casting. Okay, so shield is not a reaction. Shield is an action.
Okay, so
do you see the little symbol that's next to cast for it? It's that the triangle with the baby triangle on the left hand side.
Triangle with baby triangle on the left hand side.
Yeah. So if you look at I know you have the PDF for the core rulebook, right? Or you actually have the physical core rulebook?
Not yet. It's on its way as well. Okay. So I actually printed that page though, but I didn't print the.
So if you look at cast, do you see that symbol next to cast?
Okay. I didn't print that out. I'd have to pull up my PDF. Okay.
So if you go into, I'll bring it up. Hold on. This is.
I had just pulled it up out of Roll20.
Don't worry, it's fine. This is learning experience. All right. So spells, shield. So basically, this is shield right here. So shield's a cantrip. Yes, its casting is a single action. So basically, when you look at the action symbol, there's a couple different ones. So there is a single diamond that has a small diamond on the left hand side attached to it. That is a single action. The two action is a diamond with a tiny diamond
right,
on
yes,
the left, but
Mm-hmm.
a slightly bigger diamond offset to the right. And then it's the same thing for the 3 action. It just extends out kind of like a snake. The reaction is if it has a swooshing arrow.
Yeah.
That is a reaction action.
Yeah, that actually shows up at the top left of our character sheets too. That's that key.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
no, I can't.
All right. That's fine. No harm, no foul.
Well, technically.
Well, she didn't do anything wrong, but I mean, she's still gonna get bit by the snake.
Yep.
So let's see.
But you'll notice I didn't run right up close.
Yes.
Not this time. No. Yeah. Last time you went to pet the doggos.
I'm very, very, very sad. It did not dawn on me to at least do a recording in OBS to save that game. Where are my D8s?
2 clerics, 2 totally different demeanors. This one's very, very squishy.
Yeah, they're in here. Okay. All my D8s are in here. Oh, I must have been from a combat day. I'm like, why are my D8s missing?
Oh, dice are missing. Can't roll damage.
Oh, I know, right? Oh my god, yeah. All right.
Teacher's not here.
So
We go home.
Yep, 15-minute roll.
So
I told a teacher that once. They just kind of looked at me like, sounds awesome, which is true.
3. All right, so you take 3 points of damage from the bite.
Okay.
However, I will need a fortitude save, please.
Okay. Fortitude. Okay, so that's a D20 plus my T4.
Plus whatever the bonus is for fortitude for you.
Okay, so it's got a T in front of the numbers.
That means you're
Yeah,
trained.
so that's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it would be actually 18.
All right. You are unaffected as you feel like maybe this thing tried to pump some venom into you.
Okay, so I just simply subtract
3 points.
3. Okay.
And it's going to use its final action to attack you again. And that is a horrible, horrible miss.
Yay! I mean,
Not a critical failure by any chance.
it
Alrighty.
bit itself.
I'm hoping.
Shafra.
How many times can I move in a turn?
You have 3 actions, so you can take 3 strides.
I am taking probably 3 strides, so
What's your max movement?
20 feet.
So 60 feet for 3 actions.
Okay.
If you use all 3.
I'm using all 3. 60 feet. Okay. I think that was, it was 60. Standard here.
I'm not picking on her, Zoro.
Oh, one batch.
Yep.
One batch. Yep. There we go.
I'm not picking on her.
That's it.
Not my fault. Alrighty. Alrighty, Kentrell.
Oh boy. Okay, so I'm kind of noticing it's way over there. And do I have line of sight on these snakes?
They're in the stands. They're tiny. So they're gonna have concealment. So it's gonna be difficult. Actually, it's not gonna be concealment. They're gonna have cover.
Right.
They're in the stands, and if you try and shoot them from across the ring, they're gonna have.
I'm not throwing my staff just yet. Considering all my options.
The punch 'em club.
Yes. Welcome to the club. Identification, please. In your face.
We're just gonna have a little bump our muscles a little bit, you know.
I'm gonna go ahead and just let them handle that.
Okay.
Because
are you gonna get closer, engage, not engage?
Yeah, I'm gonna get closer, but I'm not gonna rush all the way there.
Okay.
It's like, and get right about there. And
okay, so you're there. All right.
Let's see. Can I? Let's see. Is this actually a thing I can do?
What are you trying to do?
No, that takes a minute to cast. Never mind. I am actually going to cast Shield on myself.
Okay.
It's one action. And I've used 2 so far. Wait, is there one right in front of our healer?
Yes, there is.
I'm gonna throw my staff like a boomerang.
All right, here we go.
And use Hand of the Apprentice.
Rock'em sock'em staff.
Here it comes. So, I have a +7 to attack with this. I believe, yes. Alright. So, AC 19.
AC 19 is a hit.
Alright. So, with that, I need to remember how much damage it was. It is as if I had hit with a melee attack, so a d6 plus 4. 7 points of damage to the snake.
Alrighty, it is still up. It is not happy. So,
and I pull the stick back to my hand.
So basically, Gwennon, what you see is this staff basically flies between your legs and strikes the snake, and then basically just slingshots back towards Kentrell behind you.
I look over my shoulder, give him a thumbs up.
Alrighty, so since one engaged, they all engage, because that's how pact mindsets work.
Do they get pack tactics?
No. Very few things get pack tactics. Usually things that get pack tactics are either canine, they're in the canine family, or they're in the kobold family for pack tactics in Pathfinder. I think certain commander level races actually get something similar to pack tactics as well, but it's something they have to initiate. They don't get it automatically. They basically do something, and then from that point forward, they get the same or similar benefit. And then this one's going to try and take a chomp. Did you engage Mountain Stance?
Yes, Mountain Stance is engaged, but I still have the concealed condition too.
Alrighty, that is let's see, DC flat 2. Well, it failed the flat check, so it just whiffs completely.
Thunk.
And let's see, so that is with a -4. They are agile, right?
So does it have to make that check every time it goes to hit me?
It's just the initial attack.
Okay.
Let me just double check. Concealed. Yeah. Does your rush say that you have the concealment until the end of your next turn, or until you attack?
Until the start of my next turn.
Okay. Well then that. Okay, so then that is a pass. So it actually gets to attack you, and actually rolled higher the second time. So, so minus 4 plus 8, 24.
Yeah.
Really is a really good roll. Sorry.
Strong little cobra.
So you take
Or viper.
4 points of piercing damage.
All right.
And I need a fortitude save, please.
I'll be a 21.
You are unaffected by what feels to be venom entering your leg.
Okay.
Alrighty, that's all of its actions. Gwenin, top of the order, back to you.
Okay. Now, if I cast a cantrip, can I also cast a spell on my turn?
Yes. So unlike 5e, where they have the penalty for the casting scenario, as long as you have the actions to cast, then you can cast. The issue is that you might not always be able to cast 2 spells in a turn, because most spells have a 2 action economy. So you can, I know your shield is a single action cast, so you can cast shield and something else that is a 1 action or a 2 action cast. But you just can't, your amount of casting can't exceed 3 actions, and with a caster it normally can't.
Okay, so what I'm wondering then is if I can now cast shield as the cantrip.
Yes, that's a single action. You can cast shield.
And then would I still, like 5e, would I still do a medicine check to assess how Reginald is doing?
If you want to make a check to see if he is poisoned, you would not be able to do that in combat unless you have the battle medicine feat.
Okay.
Because you'd be trying to make a medicine check in combat.
All right, but can I heal him
with a spell?
With my heal spell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't do. You just couldn't do the 3 action. You'd have to do the 1 or the 2.
Okay, so I would then, the shield would be the 1 action, and then I would do a 2 action heal.
Okay, so first action is to cast shield on yourself. Second action is to do a 2. So you're doing the 2 action casting or the 1 action casting?
The 2 action casting.
Alrighty, so D8 plus 8 to Reginald.
D8 plus 8. Okay, so that would be, just a second, wrong dice.
Yeah, don't roll D10s.
I'm fine with a D10.
Okay, so he would get 3 plus 8, so he would be healed for 11.
Nice.
Alrighty.
That brings you up to max.
All right.
Cool. So then you have used up all your actions. Okay, this Viper. Let's see, can you get to here? So that's going to take 2 actions.
Too bad I couldn't have taken that first roll.
Okay, and 1 is
Except you
Virgin, 2 is Gwenin, and it's going after Rojan.
Boy.
Still got concealed on.
And the heal spell this. Yeah, TBG, the heal spell, the 3rd action casting of heal heals all creatures for D8 in a 30-foot radius that can accept healing, including enemies. But you can also, if you're surrounded by undead, use your heals as positive energy bombs.
Yep.
Okay.
almost went with a different class in this game.
So
Oh
10
man.
plus- Does an 18 hit Reginald?
Did it make its the concealed check?
Yes, it made the flat 10. So it rolled a 10, so it beat the flat check.
Yep. Okay, yeah. So yes, an 18 will hit me. I have a 17 armor class right now.
Alrighty, so then. Alrighty, you take no actual damage from the piercing. However, I still need a fortitude save.
That will be a 22.
Alright, you suffer no damage. It is your go.
I just flex my calf and it just breaks the teeth. All right. So if I do flurry of blows, is the second swing on that with the -4?
Yeah. Give me a second because it's been a while.
Because it says apply your multiple attack penalty to the strikes normally.
Yes. So if you're attacking, okay. So it's no penalty -4 for the 2 attacks. So the thing with flurry of blows is if you connect with both strikes on the same target, you add the damage cumulatively towards resistance.
What does that mean?
So let's say something has resistance like 6 bludgeoning, and you do 4 points of damage with a punch. It took no damage because its resistance soaked up that.
I got.
So you do a flurry of blows. Between you do 6 with one punch
they
and
stack
4
up
with the other, they both connected. That's 10 damage. You've bypassed the resistance.
All right. So now, if I were to throw flurry of blows, my starting action, does that mean I still have 2 other actions to like throw another 2 attacks?
Yeah,
or...
but you can only flourish. Once per turn. But yeah, you would. Your successive attacks would be at -8.
Okay, so it doesn't stack up above -8.
No, it's like the negative penalty for multiple attack is only to a 2nd degree, and then it stays that way permanently.
Okay.
Well, not permanently, but till the end of the turn.
Is there any negative to attacking the snakes, like since they're small? Do they have?
I think their AC is adjusted for that.
Their AC is adjusted. They're tiny, so you don't have to worry.
Okay, so I'm going to go in flurry of blows to the middle snake. First swing is going to be a 23.
That's a hit.
Okay. And
what's the damage on it?
Well, I'm going to roll. Do they have any resistance?
No.
Okay.
The only reason why I asked is because with a flurry of blows, both hits do not have to be at the same target.
I gotcha. Okay. So that is going to be a total of, let's see, was it +4? It's gonna be 12 damage.
All right, so that snake is dead.
All right, and then I'm gonna go with like the second swing. Since this is the second flurry of blows. That's a -4, correct?
Yep.
All right, so the one to the left of me, I'm gonna like throw a haymaker at. So that total is going to be a 9.
9 is a miss.
Okay, and then I'm going to make another attack on it.
Okay.
The -8. That is going to be a natural 20. That is going to be a 19.
That's a hit.
Yep, because I have +7 to my attack.
Oh wait, did you roll a 20 or is it dirty 20?
I rolled a natural 20.
Then that's a critical hit.
Even if it knocks down to a 19 because of
because it's the die roll, because basically it's the way criticals work is you roll a 20 if the overall resultant is still a success, it's a critical success.
Oh, okay.
If your overall resultant is 10 or higher than the check needed, it's also a critical success.
All right, so that snake is going to take a total of 24 damage.
And you basically turn that snake into paste.
Paste him. And then I've got one more action, so you know what? I'm not really going to be moving, so let's go ahead and just throw a punch at the last snake. That's a 6.
That's a miss. Only if it's a success, TBG. The 20 doesn't negate a miss. It's a little bit weird with it. So you roll the 20. You get the hit if it's a 20.
Well, I mean, even with the minus 8
Yeah.
modifier, it still would have been a 19.
Yeah, and the thing is because he rolled a natural 20, if the overall resultant is still a success, it knocks it up a category.
Yeah, if he had rolled a natural 20 and the total came out to 26 and the AC was 27,
it'd be a hit. It wouldn't be a critical hit.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So
oh yeah, because they okay, so they carried that over from 3-5.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, I gotcha. I remember that.
It used to be in order to make a crit, actually.
You had to confirm.
You had to confirm it. Yeah.
Confirm. Yeah.
I hated that.
I've missed many.
I threw that out the window.
Yeah, I've missed many a confirmation roll for criticals.
I one-shotted a crate dragon with a pebble because of that. For a cold shot.
Let's see. So the Viper that is alive is going to take a last-ditch effort at the cleric. So let's see. Does 19 hit Gwennon?
The shield spell doesn't give me anything,
right.
does it?
You still have the shield spell up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can use the you could also use the reaction to block with the shield.
Till the start of your next turn, you raise the shield. Give me a plus one circumstance. Okay, so it gives you a +1 bonus circumstance to AC.
Okay.
And then it gives you the ability to use a reaction to raise shield
while
without
the shield
using
is in
a
effect,
hand.
you can use the shield block reaction with your magic shield. The shield has a hardness of 5. Okay, so if you block, it acts like a regular shield. Let's see. Spell ends if you haven't cast it again within 10 minutes, and like normal shield block, you can use this spell's reaction against the magic missile spell. All right, so you can shield block against magic missiles. So you shield block. Does the +1 change your AC to
15?
All right, so you would still hit. You use the shield block as a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So the shield block is going to absorb. Okay, 7 - 3. All right, so it's gonna the shield block absorbs the damage, but you're still technically hit. So you're going to still give me a fortitude save for the venom.
Okay, so
you just don't suffer the damage because of the magical shield block.
Okay, so that's going to be 11.
11. Okay. So things are about to get squirrely. Alrighty, so let's see. Is it duration or onset time? Stage 1d8. Alrighty. Poison, 1 more round. Station 4 rounds. Okay, 8 per round. Alrighty. So at the end of your turn, you are going to take 6 points of poison damage.
Okay, is that continuing, or
you don't feel better?
Okay.
All right, Shothra.
Which snake is the one that's still alive?
The one that's in front of Gwen and that bit her, obviously.
Okay, I'm going to move 20 feet to it.
Are you holding on to the Alt key when you do the ruler?
No, I am not. Why?
Okay, because it's giving you decimals. It should just snap to whole numbers. I'm not sure why it's doing that for you. It's so weird.
Not sure.
Actually, how do you use the ruler?
Whoop.
There's a little circle icon.
Yeah,
with like a little ruler going through it.
It looks like a tilted on button.
Yeah, it's right underneath the magnifying glass. You click on that, and like there's snap to center, snap to corner, no snapping.
Right.
If you choose snap to center, it'll just snap to the center of every square around you. And then you just click and drag while that button is selected. Use the ruler.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And even gave me a green one. Nice.
Well, your ruler color is the color that you choose next to your name.
Oh, even better. I chose my color.
Alrighty, so one action for move in, Shothra.
She is going to punch.
Okay. Gonna bring down the hammer.
Oh yeah.
Alright, let's have it.
Oh boy. Do I add my strength modifier to it?
Yep, it's an attack. Strength attack, so strength modifier.
12.
12 would be a miss. You have one more action.
Well, I'm gonna try again. How much might I be missing? Or did
minus since your fists aren't agile, minus 10.
Are you trained? Are you trained and unarmed?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like I have to double check.
Trained adds another. Trained adds 2 plus your level onto.
So level 3, so 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So are you not?
Yeah.
So you weren't adding your proficiency bonus?
Not for my unarmed. No.
Yeah. So proficiency bonuses in Pathfinder for everyone. So it's always your level. So your level is always part of your proficiency bonus for checks and whatnot. For attacks, your proficiency bonus is just going to go from 0 to 4, 6, 8. So untrained, trained, expert, master, legendary.
It's gonna be really weird when I'm a master of something.
And
right
now, not every class can achieve legendary status in something. It depends on. There are certain skills and certain attacks and certain things you can do as part of your class that will, as you progress in level, will change your proficiency with that particular thing. Not all classes actually get to legendary in something that increases with their class. It's a little weird. I'm not sure how Paizo works out the math for it, but not everyone gets legendary. But everyone gets legendary in something if you work it out right. The potential's there. And you just fake it enough, yeah. Fucking rogues.
It's like,
yeah.
It's gonna be really weird.
Alrighty, so a 15 does hit, and that's enough to kill it because it only had 1 hit point left.
Oh, cool. I did something.
Yay!
I tenderized the meat. You just
Did the thing.
All right. So the vipers are all like squished and squashed, and the crowd is like super happy. They're like, yeah, kill those damn snakes, blah blah blah. As a resultant of you successfully saving the crowd from the venomous snakes. And doing it in such an exciting manner, you actually gain an excitement point from the audience for that. So that technically changes Gwynen's last attempt from a non-attempt to a success, since that is also equivalent to a +1.
Yeah. All right.
I'll just use prestidigitation to clean up the mess and just move it away.
A giant push broom comes out of it nowhere.
Basically. Just, out you go. Out you go. Don't need you in here anymore.
Alrighty. So the clowns come out and they're like, calming down the clown while they get ready, calming down the crowd while we get ready for the big number. The big number is, according to what you guys decided, is going to be Mordain and her escape trick.
Yes. Question. Should we take another break before we continue?
Well, we're on the 4 o'clock marker right now.
On the 4th hour. We can end here. And then pick up. We'll pick up in 2 weeks. We can end here before Mordenkainen's. Actually, it's kind of funny because Mordain was going to refuse to participate in the performance unless she was chosen to be the big number. But since you chose for her to be the big number regardless,
Put up or shut up, Mordain. Get in there.
You get the benefit. So since it's even for her act. If you want, you can roll her act now, and then we'll pick up the next campaign with the finale.
Sure, I'll roll.
Well, I was gonna roll Mordain because I want to.
Okay.
You want to roll for the watery bent?
Here comes the one.
No.
You just want to see her drown.
Oh no.
Oh, what am I doing? A fortitude save or a thievery?
Her performance is.
Fortitude, it says her checks are
fortitude plus 8, thievery plus 7.
Let's see. Oh, I got the wrong one. She's the back cover. So Mordain is. So she gets a fortitude or a thievery check. So fortitude is plus 8, thievery is plus 7. Same thing. She's shackled, chucked into a water tank, and she's gotta get out.
All right. Well, either way, she got a natural 20.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Now you roll
She's
good.
not dead.
Oh.
All right. So
I was really hoping for a 1.
So what I'm gonna say is are you gonna have her with the natural 20? So that does her thievery check. So that is a critical success for the thievery. So she frees herself from the shackles if you choose thievery, or if you want to do the fortitude, she basically can flub or fake like she's can't hold her breath, and then basically you can do another action to see if she can escape the shackles with a different thievery check.
Oh, kind of like playing it off.
Yeah, up to you. I don't know how.
Yeah, let's do that. Like let's make it look like she's faking drowning, so she can then just surprise the crowd and escape from her shackles.
Alrighty.
All right, that is going to be a 17.
Okay, so with the negative.
What's the negative?
It's gonna she's going to attempt the. Does she have agile? I don't think she has agile. She does not have agile, so it's -5. So you said it was 19 or 17?
17.
All right, so 17 is a failure, but you can bring in the clowns and you can turn it into a success.
We already brought it in the clouds, though.
It's per act, not per.
Oh, per act.
It's it's once per act.
Okay, yeah. Let's bring in the clowns.
Alrighty. So right now Mordain has a critical success for her breathing. She escaped her shackles with a success. The clowns gave her some extra time, and she had the extra breath she needed to actually break out. Is she just gonna is she not gonna do a third action, or is she just gonna chill?
What else? What can we do for a third action here?
So the third action would be she can she can chill in the tank for another action with a fortitude, because she's already escaped her shackles, just to placate, but it's going to be with a -10.
Yeah,
so
no. Let's just have her come out.
Alrighty. So basically, so the clowns come out. She comes out. She's like, "Look, I'm free. Super cool," and everyone is super happy. They love it. Alrighty. So she chooses to do nothing for that one. Alrighty. So we are gonna call it here, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I just want to give some bookkeeping for everyone. So as it stands right now, before the finale of this act, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have accumulated 10 excitement. Your maximum anticipation is 20, but you've earned 15 anticipation. So you basically need 5 more successes to match or exceed your anticipation for a full payout for this performance.
Yay.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, here's hoping I don't flub it in mine.
Don't screw it up. Our money's on the line.
All right,
Literally.
And just
So how long would the acts take?
They break it down into action economy, but you would think of it like a circus night. It's like a couple hours, like 2 or 3 hours for a night of entertainment. But the thing is they're to track things that would be hourly in between the show is kind of weird, because things take longer and shorter than some other things. So you're well within to do like an hour check type of thing within the span of the show, but I would probably, unless it wasn't in the finale, you would do another hour type check at the end of the show, at the end of the finale, if that's what you're asking.
I was wondering mostly about my healing, like to heal myself.
Oh, to use the healing skill on
yourself? or even how much I would heal.
So so the way that works is once you're out of combat, you're in exploration mode for something, since it's healing yourself, not the same target. Like you couldn't heal Reginald again until the end of the finale. But since you're a new target for the medicine check, you can heal yourself.
Okay.
But after you heal yourself, again, you wouldn't be able to heal yourself again until probably the end of the finale, because that would probably be another hour. Because once someone is either healed or not healed, like once the attempt is made for a medicine check, you can't make the attempt again on the same target for another hour. So like as you're traveling from combat, technically that's how most people get their hit points back, through traveling. It's like, it's basically you had a combat, you're going to travel a few hours, hopefully there's a few people with medicine and medicine kits, and then they just basically heal each other up as they travel. That's the typical transition for that.
And I could just use my medicine kit on myself?
Correct.
Okay. So could I roll for that now then?
Sure, go for it.
So, and that's just a D8?
You have to make the check first. You have to beat a DC 15.
Oh boy, okay. But I have my bonus for that, right?
Yep, it's whatever your total check is.
Yeah, so, oh Lord. So that's an 8.
You unfortunately did not heal yourself.
Okay.
However, it's not a critical fail, so you didn't hurt yourself either. So...
Oh, that's always great.
so
and then it would be, I'd have to wait for a period of time before I could do that again.
Exactly. So okay. So unless you're willing to burn a heal spell, you wouldn't be able to use the medicine skill again until at minimum end of the finale.
Okay. But if things went south, I could, as a first action, I could heal myself.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty. So everyone, thank you so much. I was peeking at the numbers. I think we got like up to 22 or something like that, I think, throughout the show. So I'm super happy. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone showing up and giving us your love. This show, as well as 3 other shows we have. On Monday, we have our Mass Effect campaign. That is DM'd by the wonderful Zorro, who does a huge chunk of our channel art, and we love and appreciate her for that. Our Tuesday game is our Destiny Forged. That game. I am a player, and Rojan over here is actually our DM for that game, and we're basically doing a homebrewed fifth edition romp stomp through torment and infected world, undead dragons, liches.
It's all your fault, by the way.
Like demon lords, all sorts of crazy stuff.
It's your group's fault, by the way. All this
you know what? I'm at this point. I'm pretty much. I have enough PTSD from that show to just say yes. It's pretty much our fault. And then every other Saturday. So the next Saturday will be Withered Wastes, and I promise you, the WW for the Saturday games was not intentional. It is completely coincidence.
I still like my submission for this show's name.
But so next Saturday we'll be with Rojan again, who'll be DMing another group of crazy misfits through a Fallout 76 type world where basically magic is the devil, and we've already had 3 people cast magic in the open and are about to get the party killed. So look out for that fun, because there's all sorts of crazy stuff that's going to happen this Saturday with those guys. And then the successive Saturday, you'll be with us again with our performers doing Wayward Wanderers, where we'll be running the Extinction Curse campaign. Thank you guys. I again apologize for the earlier mishap with stuff. I had to switch streaming apps because what I was doing in Streamlabs didn't work the way I needed it to work, and I had to drop back to OBS, so it killed time and whatnot. So I appreciate your patience. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for all the views. You guys are amazing and incredible. We can't do this without you. Thanks to Roll20 for helping us out and being kind of like a pseudo sponsor for us and all their awesomeness. And all you guys for being our great subscribers and followers and lurkers. We love you and appreciate you guys. And we'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.